Chapter 536. The Demon Court should be established. Jiang Chongkong didn't have the capital to set it up now, and neither did Zhu 19. Demon race, who's in charge now? How strong are they? Jiang Chongkong asked. I'm not sure who's in charge of the demon race. I'm just an immortal minor demon king. Zhu 19 shook his head and said, to the true demon race, immortals are just small demon kings. Immortal lords are great demon kings. Immortal kings are peak-level demon kings. I once met a peak-level demon king. He assigned me here to guard glory-bound ancient city. He is at the peak of the immortal realm, yet he is only a little demon king. Impressive. Jiang Chongkong smiled. Fortunately, he had changed his identity to that of a demon. If he were a human, he would probably be devoured without any scraps left. Judicial Sky Monster, why don't you tell me your goal? As for the monster court, it is impossible now. Zhu 19 said. She didn't think that an immortal like Jiang Chongkong would dare to come over and establish a demon court. This is sheer stupidity. The demon court must be established. Of course, it's not now. We have to unite all the demon clans in the world. Jiang Chongkong said solemnly, the golden crow egg of the heavenly court must be taken back as well. The golden crow cannot become a slave of the heavenly court. Zhu 19 said in a low voice, Lord Sky Demon, are you sincere or not? That golden crow egg might very well contain a Fei Thearka's bloodline. Aren't you afraid of affecting your position? Jiang Chongkong chuckled and pointed at himself. I, Dongwang Chongyue, am a heavenly monster of justice. Back then, the Monster Monarch and Monster Monarch were able to conquer the heavenly court. Why can't I help the new Monster Monarch become the new Monster Monarch? Demon Sovereign, and 2 golden crows. There was only 1 golden crow egg, and now there was Jiang Chongkong, the golden crow. Just like the Demon Emperor and Demon Emperor, they could establish a demon court and govern the immortal world together. Furthermore, that golden crow egg was in the heavenly court. The celestial court even obtained the Golden Crow Celestial Sutra and hatched little golden crows. They kept extracting their blood essence to cultivate the Golden Crow Celestial Sutra. By then, mixed-blood golden crows would be everywhere. Such a treasure would definitely be heavily guarded by the heavenly court. How could it be taken back so easily? If you really have such intentions, then it is Yao Clan's honor. Zhu 19 said with a smile. The Heavenly Book of Justice shone as Jiang Chongkong said, the Heavenly Book does not lie. If I am unable to become a qualified heavenly demon of justice, the heavens will not choose me. Zhu 19 nodded his head and finally believed it. The heavens would not deceive them. Anyone who knew about the existence of the Heaven Tao would know this. The demon Tharch had also left behind these words. All schemes and tricks could not be hidden from the heavens. Unless one had a large amount of heaven's power and made great contributions, the heavens could tolerate some small matters, but would not change these small matters that had already happened. What had been done was done. Just like before the heavens had awakened, the immortals and the demon race had committed countless evil deeds. The heavenly Tao had never truly disappeared, quietly recording everything that had happened. Only, now, there was an unreasonable Jiang Chongkong who dared to threaten the immortal profession and make changes. In a sense, the celestial occupation represented the heavens, and he was threatening the heavens. Jiang Chongkong felt that he was in a race with the heavens. He wanted to see if the heavens would recover first, or if he would reach the stage where he could suppress the heavens first. If the heavens recovered first, it was hard to guarantee that the heavens wouldn't settle scores with him. Be it taking back the golden crow egg or establishing the demon court, I have to unite all the demon race in the world. Zhu 19 returned to the spiderweb, waved his hand, and a cup of wine appeared. Try it. The clear liquid gave off a thick wine fragrance, and also a thick celestial energy. Jiang Chongkong drank it in one gulp. There was a hint of sweetness and the taste of peaches. This is brewed from spirit peaches? Do you know about the peaches of immortality? Zhu 19 smiled and said, Peaches of immortality? Of course, it is rumored that there was a peaches of immortality in the ancient heavenly court. Legend has it that if one ate the peaches of immortality, one would become a celestial or god, becoming immortal. Jiang Changkong said. He didn't have many memories of the peaches of immortality. He only knew that if one ate it, one would become a celestial and become immortal. He looked at the cup in his hand and drank the wine. This is the celestial wine brewed from the peaches of immortality? Although it is not a true peaches of immortality, it is a celestial peach planted from the peach core. Zhu 19 pointed at the ground. This is Glorybound City. I don't know if you know, but in the ancient era, this place was called Glorybound Nation. Glorybound Nation, Flower Fruit Mountain, Monkey King, Heaven's Equal, Jiang Changkong said calmly. Are you trying to say that Heaven's Equal really exists? After the ancient era, the heavenly Tao no longer existed, the sages went missing, and the heavenly court also ceased to exist. The western spiritual mountain collapsed, and the celestial world lost its order. Wars broke out and some places were destroyed. Zhu 19 sighed. After that came the heavenly court, the celestial court, and the celestial court. The demon race could only hide in the dark, struggling at death's door, not daring to show themselves. There are demon race everywhere in the world, and you say that you don't dare to show yourself. Jiang Changkong shook his head and smiled. When he first came to the celestial world, he had seen many demon race. Martial immortals, human immortals, and heaven immortals occupied a place and became demon kings. If you say that they are pets raised by the three great immortal sects, then I have nothing to say. Zhu 19 laughed coldly and said in disdain, Those ants have the face to call themselves demon race and demon kings. Let's talk about what happened here. Jiang Changkong pulled the topic back. Zhu 19 was filled with hatred. Back then, the three great immortal sects attacked the demon race and nearly wiped us out. If not for the ancient great immortal sects appearing and scaring them away, would there still be a place for us to live? Demon race and ancient great immortal sects? What happened back then? Where did those ancient immortals go? Jiang Changkong asked. I don't know. The ancient great immortal sects' memories were changed, and they don't know where the ancient immortals and ancient great immortal sects went. The current ancient great immortal sects were just small demons back then, and they only grew after many years of cultivation. Zhu 19 said, There is no order in the world, and the heavenly Tao doesn't exist. This is the best era, and we can cultivate to become stronger. However, it is also the worst era, and there is no price to pay for killing. Jiang Changkong kept silent. Zhu 19 was right. Without the heavenly Tao's restrictions, they could do whatever they wanted. It was just like how there were no laws in his previous life. Killing without reason was not wrong, and strength was king. Powerful talent coupled with heaven-defying luck. If there were no restrictions like the immortal records, there would really be some top-notch expert. From then on, the news of the ancient great immortal sects was sealed, and the demon race hid in the dark to recuperate. Zhu 19 sighed. The three great immortal sects divided the land, and the situation of the three great immortal sects was formed. Jiang Changkong listened quietly. Although Zhu 19 was kind, she was also a ruthless person. Her hatred was strong, and she had killed many heavenly soldiers and generals. Zhu 19 continued, Proud Coming Nation is the homeland of Heaven's Equal. This proud coming city is the only place in Proud Coming Nation that has preserved its ruins. So, you occupied this place? Jiang Changkong asked. Not us, but the ancient divine apes stayed here. Zhu 19 explained, Back then, Heaven's Equal used his own strength to change the talents and bloodline of his race, turning them into divine apes. He even entered the underworld to reincarnate, and removed the book of life and death. None of those ancient divine apes died? What's the situation in the underworld now? Jiang Chongkong thought of the Yellow Springs lineage. When they ascended, they should have gone directly to the underworld. Until now, he had not been able to contact them. Zhu 19 shook her head. No one knows the situation in the underworld. As for the ancient divine apes, the first batch followed Heaven's equal and left the celestial world. Back then, only the young divine apes were left. Of course, they were terrifyingly talented, and some had already become top-notch great immortals and left this place. Now, the ones that are still here are the new generation divine apes, an immortal lord divine ape. You're saying all this because you want me to ally with Heaven's equal? That's right, they have an extremely high status in the demon race, provided that you can take out a treasure for them. Chapter 537. If it wasn't for this treasure, the ancient divine ape bloodline would have left glory-bound city long ago. After Zhu 19 finished speaking, he added, I am also here to guard this treasure. Jiang Chongkong asked curiously, what treasure is it for the ancient divine ape to stop here for so long without obtaining it? The primordial divine ape was a peak-level greater demon. This was an immortal king divine ape. What was it that even an immortal king couldn't obtain? Could it be that it required an immortal emperor? However, the demon race was powerful. Not all of the ancient greater demons had fallen. How could they not have immortal emperors if they could scare off the three major powers and protect the demon race? Zhu 19 had also said that the status of the ancient divine ape in the demon race was not bad. If they were to ask, the immortal emperor would most likely not reject. Zhu 19 smiled faintly and came to his side. He said in a low voice, see calming. Divine iron needle. Qi Tian Xing didn't take it with him? A trace of surprise flashed across Jiang Chongkong's face. The godly ocean-pacifying iron was Sun Wukong's weapon. The ancient, immortal gods had left. How could Qi Tian Xing leave the celestial world with the divine apes without his own weapons? It is a new immortal artifact. It is a very special immortal artifact. Before martial immortals, it would only be a rank 1 immortal artifact. In front of an immortal king, it is a grade 6 immortal artifact. Rumor has it that even immortal emperors have tried it. Zhu 19 smiled faintly. Do you want to know the result? It hasn't been taken out yet. It must have failed, Jiang Chongkong said. It wasn't just a failure. This matter has been passed down in the ape god bloodline. That immortal emperor only managed to escape with a wisp of his divine soul. He used countless divine medicines and 1,000 years to recover. Zhu 19 said in a low voice, if it wasn't for the fact that this treasure was left by Heaven's equal, the ancient divine apes would have given up long ago. Do you have the guts to give it a try? Anyone can try? Jiang Chongkong frowned. Of course not. Under normal circumstances, only immortal monarchs of the demon race, who are not part of the ape divine race, can attempt it. But you are different. You are a heavenly demon of justice, someone highly regarded by the demon emperor. Moreover, your name is Dongwang Zhangyue. Zhu 19 laughed. Dongwang Changyue. With the body of the golden crow, he would be the demon emperor of the demon race. Coupled with his identity as a heavenly demon, he would definitely be able to convince the demon race. The ancient divine apes were definitely willing to let Jiang Chongkong have a try. Then I'll have to trouble you to make the arrangements. After I obtain the ocean-calming godly iron needle, I'll lead the ancient divine ape lineage to reclaim the demon clan. Jiang Chongkong cupped his hands. Zhu 19 sighed and said, I think you should wait until the immortal monarch to go, the danger will be lower. If the sea-calming godly pillar Tai Tai wants to kill you, the ancient divine ape can't save you, and it won't save you. Jiang Chongkong smiled faintly and said, we'll know after we try. According to what you said, the godly sea-pacifying iron isn't something that can be obtained with strength alone. There might be another way. If one was strong enough to take it away, that immortal emperor wouldn't only have a strand of his divine soul. The ancient divine ape lineage was extremely powerful. Although they were demons, they did not respect the demon emperor. Their only faith was their ancestor, the heaven's equal saint, who battled against the heavens and earth. Then let's go. Zhu 19 waved his hand and a passageway appeared on the ground. Jiang Chongkong hadn't sensed anything before. The secrets of glory-bound ancient city far surpassed his imagination. The two entered the passageway and moved forward quickly. This is the underground space? Jiang Chongkong asked. You can think of it that way. You can also call it a small world. It was created by heaven's equal back then. Zhu 19 said as they moved forward. When heaven's equal left, other than leaving behind the sea-calming godly pillar Tai Tai, he also created a small world for the divine apes to live in. These divine apes were actually the monkeys of Flower Fruit Mountain that had been modified. With this small world, other than sages, only those who knew the way to enter and exit would be able to find it. In order to protect them, Heaven's Equal had spent a lot of effort. As they moved forward, Jiang Chongkong discovered that there were many intersecting passageways here. Those who didn't know would not be able to figure them out. Even with his chaos divine power, he couldn't find any clues in a short time. An hour later, the two stopped in a passageway. This place looked no different from other places. Zhu 19's body emitted demonic chi as he lightly hit the wall of the cave. 19, who did you bring this time? A cold voice sounded. Did you find out? The successor of the demon monarch, the bloodline of the demon emperor, Dongwang Changyue, the demon race's heavenly demon of justice. Zhu 19 bowed slightly and said, May the divine ape open the door. Demon monarch, demon emperor? A bewildered voice rang out. Before the two of them could react, a majestic suction force appeared and the two of them were sucked into the suction force. When they appeared again, they were already above a part of the sea. A golden-haired ape sized up Jiang Chongkong curiously. After looking for a while, the ape pinched his face again and raised its leg. TSK, this old ape actually couldn't tell. Your strength is profound. A trace of surprise flashed in Jiang Chongkong's eyes. This ape was at the peak of the immortal realm. The heavenly book appeared and demonic chi surged. Information was displayed on it. Sun Laosan, no merits and no faults, Flower Fruit Mountain cultivating the divine ape. This is the heavenly book of justice? I heard that the heavenly court has one. I didn't expect the demon race to have one too. Sun Laosan looked at the information on it and clicked his tongue in wonder. Jiang Chongkong looked ahead and saw a mountain range that stretched for dozens of miles. It was covered by white clouds and dense spiritual chi. It was like a fairyland. Many divine apes and demons shuttled through the mountain range and soared in the clouds. Jiang Chongkong smiled faintly and said, Thanks to the demon monarch's love and the demon emperor's legacy, I have the immortal title of justice. Sun Laosan nodded and said, Let me see your golden crow physique. Jiang Chongkong leaped and 100-foot-tall golden crow appeared. The power of the sun surged out. The sea below quickly evaporated. The sea within dozens of miles was boiling and the temperature was frightening. Quickly put it away. Don't lose the fish, Sun Laosan hurriedly shouted. Jiang Chongkong turned into a human and restrained himself. Do you still need to verify it? No need. Follow me to Flower Fruit Mountain. The divine ape nodded and led the way to the mountain range. In the mountain range, many demons were alarmed by Jiang Chongkong's actions. Jiang Chongkong glanced around and was shocked. There were many immortals and demon kings hiding here. There were even some immortal lords. Now that he had become an immortal, some immortal lords could not resist the information from the Almanac of Justice even if they were unwilling. There were all kinds of demons here. Other than the divine ape, there were also some tree demons, grass demons, crocodiles, lions, and other demons. Just as they entered the mountain range, a peach tree full of peaches took the initiative to hand over 3 peaches. Thank you, old demon. Sun Laosan took the peaches and gave one to each of them. Jiang Chongkong did not stand on ceremony. The peaches were juicy and sweet. They were also filled with immortal chi. They were equivalent to second-grade immortal herbs. Splash! The sound of flowing water could be heard. A waterfall appeared in front of them and blocked the way. There were many apes playing in the water below. This must be the water curtain cave? Jiang Chongkong said with a smile. It seems like little 19 has told you a lot. Why did the descendant of the demon emperor come to Flower Fruit Mountain? An old voice spread out. The waterfall split apart and an old ape stood at the entrance with a wary gaze. Zhu 19 quickly said, Celestial Lord, I did not tell him that. Chongyue admires heaven's equal and knows more than me. Jiang Chongkong cupped his hands and said, Back then, heaven's equal wreaked havoc in the heaven palace and slaughtered the heaven court. I looked forward to it and wished that I could have been born in ancient times. Anyone can say nice things. As a heaven monster of justice, you should understand that it was the will of the heavens. The Celestial Lord Divine Ape sighed. Chapter 538. How powerful was the ancient heavenly courts back then? Heavenly Emperor Hao Tian was an existence comparable to the primordial demon, the Arch. He ruled the celestial world. Back then, the heavenly courts truly ruled the celestial world. It was not like now where the world was divided into 3 factions. Back then, Heaven Saint Chi was just a beginner. No matter how powerful he was at most an immortal or not even an immortal. How could he kill a few times in the heavenly courts without being able to do anything to him? However, the heavenly Tao allowed him to do so, or rather, let him do so. Just like how Jiang Chongkong did not give Heavenly King Ziwei face when enforcing the law. Would Heavenly King Ziwei dare to kill him? Although Heavenly King Ziwei took away the Heavenly Book in the end and seized his power, that was before Heaven fully recovered. If Heavenly King Ziwei dared to take away his Heavenly Book and restrict him from enforcing the law, it would probably be Star Lord Ziwei in the future. Immortal Lord, aren't you going to invite us in? Jiang Chongkong smiled faintly. I came this time to see if I can obtain the sea-calming divine needle. The immortal Lord Old Ape nodded slightly and walked into the cave. Come in. Old Third, pick some fruit. Yes, Elder, Old Third Son answered respectfully. Inside the cave there were stone stools, a stone table, and a throne. The throne was clean and spotless. The immortal Lord Old Ape bowed respectfully to the throne and led them to sit on the stone stools. Old Ape Sun Yuan, just call me Old Ape Sunday. Have a seat. Thank you, immortal Lord. Jiang Chongkong cupped his hands. The Heavenly Book of Justice had already shown information. Sun Yuan, peak immortal Lord, ancient divine ape that lived in seclusion in Huagua Mountain, had no merits or faults. In that case, Huagua Mountain was filled with cultivators that lived in seclusion. Heavenly Demon of Justice wants to borrow the power of Huagua Mountain to establish a new demon court? Sun Yuan asked. Zhu 19 hurriedly gave him a look and shook his head slightly. However, Jiang Chongkong nodded. I have such thoughts for the demon race and for myself. You should think more for yourself. No matter what, the demon race can live on. Sun Yuan said indifferently, after countless years, the Golden Crow lineage has appeared again. Don't you think it's funny that you're still thinking about the demon court? It's the same for everyone, isn't it? Jiang Chongkong retorted. Zhu 19's expression changed, because his words might offend this old ape. Sun Yuanzhen grinned. Yes, it's all the same. Who doesn't want their race to be glorious? Huagua Mountain has always been thinking about equal heaven saint. Jiang Chongkong calmly said, I want to give it a try. If I succeed, the Flower Fruit Mountain will help me. If I fail, I will never mention this matter to the Ape Deity Mountain again. Sure. Sun Yuan nodded, his gaze gradually turning solemn. I have a question. Please go ahead. What do you think of the heavens? Sun Yuan's voice became heavy. The shackles of the strong, Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. Sun Yuan suddenly became agitated. Then why are you still thinking about the demon court and wanting to revive heaven? Wasn't the powerful ancient heavenly court also under the control of heaven? Heaven could allow one to improve rapidly, and becoming an immortal or a god would be a piece of cake. It could even make someone a saint. However, he had to be obedient, always obedient, without the slightest bit of emotion. He could only obey the laws of heaven. The laws of heaven were the only law, the supreme law. When equal heaven saint caused havoc in heaven palace, didn't heavenly God want to kill him? But could he kill him? Didn't heavenly King Ziwei want to kill him now? Did he dare? Jiang Chongkong sighed softly, because I'm not an expert yet. Sun Yuan fell silent. Zhu 19 didn't know what to say. The weak needed the existence of heaven. The strong hated the shackles of heaven. No one didn't want to become stronger. No one didn't want to be shackled. In the ancient era, equal heaven fought against heaven and earth, but he still lost. From start to finish, equal heaven was in heaven's trap. Relying on the power of heaven to improve, heaven can be taken back at any time. Sun Yuan sighed. Back in the ancient heavenly court, heavenly God of justice violated the laws of heaven and was demoted to immortal. Just one decree and his divine power dissipated. Senior, you like the current celestial world? Jiang Chongkong asked. I like the current life in Huagua Mountain, Sun Yuan said. He liked the secluded cultivation in Huagua Mountain and didn't like the current chaotic celestial world. After so many years, there have been 3 factions, which proves that none of them are qualified celestial thearchs. Celestial thearchs represent heaven and all living beings are equal. The current celestial thearch can't do that and neither can the other 2. Jiang Chongkong said calmly. You can do it? Zhu 19 curled his lips in disbelief. It's not that I can't do it, but I can discuss it with heaven. Jiang Chongkong smiled. As long as he was strong enough, it wasn't impossible to discuss it with heaven. But they obviously didn't believe him. Zhu 19 snickered and didn't say anything. Sun Yuan shook his head and didn't believe him at all. Discuss with heaven? You are just a heavenly monster of justice chosen by heaven. Seeing this, Jiang Chongkong shrugged helplessly. No matter how much I say, I can only try. Sun Yuan stood up. Let's go, I'll take you there. Jiang Chongkong stood up and followed Old Ape to search for the sea-stabilizing godly iron. Old Ape came to the side of the throne and gently patted it. The throne moved away and below was the blue ocean. The 2 of them jumped in. An ancient path appeared in the blue ocean. This is the path to the treasure. At the end of the path is the treasure. Don't mess around and don't leave. No matter what happens, you have to remain calm and guard your mind. Old Ape said solemnly, if you can't reach the end in 3 days, retreat immediately. How long is this path? Jiang Chongkong asked. It's infinitely long and infinitely short. Different people walk differently. Some say that this path ends in 1 step, some say that there is no end. Old Ape used 5 days. Sun Yuan said and floated up. 3 days later, I will open this place. Remember what I said, there won't be any danger. Old Ape left and left Jiang Chongkong alone. He looked at the ancient path beneath his feet. All around him was the blue ocean and some small mountains. There was no aura of life at all. He stepped on the ancient path like an ordinary stone. Jiang Chongkong didn't attack. He used the Golden Crow rainbow transformation technique and charged forward. The path was curved and there was no danger. Jiang Chongkong was very careful and reserved his strength. Old Ape had told him not to mess around and to remain calm no matter what happened. Buzz. After a while, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Jiang Chongkong stopped and said, Senior? She wore a white dress and had a cultivation level close to that of a god. It was Ji Xiling. Chongkong, I didn't expect to see you here, Ji Xiling said in surprise and quickly came to his side. Whoosh! The heavenly book appeared and information appeared. Ji Xiling, mortal, 12 worlds of the East Sea, no merits or demerit. This, Jiang Chongkong was shocked. Could she even hide from the heavens? Or was there really a great divine ability on the ancient path that brought Ji Xiling here from the mortal world? He opened his third eye, but the person in front of him still didn't change. Jiang Chongkong stretched out his hand and then retracted it. He quickly rushed forward and said, "Senior, I have something to do. Goodbye." No matter what happened, he had to remain calm and not act recklessly. Old Ape's voice sounded in his mind. It was impossible for Ji Xiling to appear here. This was definitely fake. Ji Xiling, who was at the back, watched him leave in astonishment. She did not expect him to leave so quickly. Chapter 539. Ba. Benefactor, the road ahead is tough. Why don't you stop and rest? A monk in a kasaya sat cross-legged on the side of the road and invited Jiang Chen with a smile. "Thank you for your kindness, but I still have important matters to attend to." Jiang Chongkong thanked the monk and continued forward. This was the first time he had seen a monk. There were none in the mortal world. There were none in the celestial world, but he had seen one on the way to retrieve the ocean-pacifying divine iron needle. Whoosh! The sound of chains rattling could be heard as two figures appeared in front of him. One was in white and the other was in black. They had long tongues and held soul-reaping chains in their hands. "Dong Wang Changyue, your lifespan is up. There's no need for the two of you to worry about me. I've already cultivated the immortal Tao fruit and become an immortal." Jiang Chongkong quickly passed by the two and dodged the soul-reaping chains. One after another, eerie figures appeared on the ancient path. Fortunately, these figures were not very strong and could not do anything to him. Roar! A roar rang out. Jiang Chongkong's head felt a little dizzy as a sense of danger swept through his heart. His heart skipped a beat. He quickly raised his palms and intertwined the divine sunfire and chaotic force. With a loud boom, a majestic divine force intertwined. Jiang Chongkong's figure did not move, but the two figures exploded. "They've already changed to a direct attack?" Jiang Chongkong frowned. He glanced at the two exploded figures and continued on his way. Half an hour later, a figure wearing golden armor and holding an immortal artifact spear appeared. "Jiang Chongkong, return my life. Li Gue, if I can kill you once, I can kill you countless times." Jiang Chongkong harumphed coldly and slammed his palm down. The immortal artifact, immortal armor, and the figure dissipated. "Return my life," a cold voice rang out. The people, the star demon, and the monsters that he had killed since he transmigrated to this world all appeared in front of him. It was vast and boundless. "I didn't expect that I've killed so many pieces of trash." Jiang Chongkong took a step forward like the sun. Endless divine sun fire rained down. "Then, let's kill again." The souls of his former subordinates had come to claim their lives. The strength of these departed souls was equivalent to that of an early divine immortal. Some of them had even reached the peak of divine immortal realm. Jiang Chongkong was not afraid at all. Wherever the sun god fire passed, no matter who it was, they were all turned into ashes. "Dong dong. Ba. Benefactor, put down the butcher's knife and repent." Tyrant appeared once again, knocking on the wooden fish. His body emitted a myriad of Buddhist light. Jiang Chongkong turned a deaf ear and continued to kill. This ancient path was truly bizarre. Everything that happened to him in the mortal world could appear here. There were some people he had killed that he himself had almost forgotten. To think that the ancient road could also manifest itself. The godly sea-calming needle, iron, is looking down on us? Jiang Chongkong coldly snorted and took a step forward. Boundless godly power swept out and annihilated all the dead souls. Buzz. Behind him, Buddha's light shone and blocked the divine fire of the sun. The monk put his palms together and said with pity, "Benefactor, turn back. You can actually block my power." Jiang Chongkong was slightly surprised. The divine fire of the sun swept out and burned the monk. Golden light shone and a lotus platform appeared. Buddha's light wrapped around the monk and blocked the divine fire of the sun. "Benefactor, don't be so stubborn," the monk said with pity. "I will recite a Buddhist scripture for you. Avalokitesvara. Avalokitesvara, my ass. Back then, heaven's equal didn't kill you because you had a backer." Jiang Chongkong coldly snorted and raised his palm. Grey godly power mixed with the divine fire of the sun enveloped the monk. "What year is it now? You're still playing this game." Facing Jiang Chongkong's palm, the monk did not dodge. He continued to recite the incantation as if he was very confident in his defense. Boom! Crack! The palm landed and the lotus platform cracked. Chaotic godly power and the divine fire of the sun surged in. A trace of shock flashed across the monk's compassionate expression. Then, it slowly dissipated. Jiang Chongkong turned around and left without any hesitation. The divine fire of the sun fluctuated, and Jiang Chongkong walked forward step by step. Next, figures appeared one after another. Those that Jiang Chongkong recognized and those that he didn't, they were all deity cultivators. Jiang Chongkong didn't care who it was this time. He used the divine fire of the sun to destroy everything. After walking for a long time and killing countless people, another figure appeared in front of him. "Heavenly God of Justice, your path is over." The figure stood with his hands clasped behind his back. Dense purple light and vast divine might made Jiang Chongkong feel a lot of pressure. "Heavenly Monarch Ziwei?" Jiang Chongkong stopped in his tracks and said with a smile, "This place is really powerful. It can even simulate the image of a heavenly king." "You're not afraid to see me?" Heavenly Monarch Ziwei slowly turned around. Although his eyes were level, there was a hint of disdain in his eyes. "Even a projection of me can kill you. In a battle of the same cultivation level, I can kill you like a dog." Jiang Chongkong put his hands behind his back. "Come, I'll let you have 3 moves. Arrogant!" Heavenly Monarch Ziwei shouted angrily. The stars in his palm changed, and the laws manifested. A wisp of unique aura pressed down like a king of heaven and earth. "He can even simulate a celestial monarch's laws?" Jiang Chongkong was shocked, but he was still fearless. He took Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's attack head-on. Clang! The palm landed, and Jiang Chongkong's body slid back. A crack appeared on his body, but it instantly healed. On the other hand, Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's expression darkened, and he attacked again. Clang! There was another tremor, and the power of laws tore through Jiang Chongkong's defense. A palm print appeared on his body, breaking through his defense. After taking 5 steps back, Jiang Chongkong's expression was calm. "One more move. Heavenly God of Justice, how dare you!" Heavenly Monarch Ziwei shouted. This time, he changed to a fist, and the aura of celestial monarch's laws became denser. Boom! The fist landed and directly sank into Jiang Chongkong's body. The sound of bones breaking rang out and blood gushed out. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei laughed sinisterly. "You're too careless." "Is that so?" Jiang Chongkong harumphed coldly, and boundless divine power surged out. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's expression changed, and his body flew back. "I told you, killing you is like killing a dog in the same cultivation realm." Boundless divine power surged around Jiang Chongkong's body as he walked toward Heavenly Monarch Ziwei. The projection of a golden crow appeared behind him. He arrived beside Heavenly Monarch Ziwei and looked down at him. "Perhaps I should call you the Heaven Equal Sage's remnant thought?" Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's pupils contracted as he looked at him in shock. "It looks like I might have guessed wrong, but I'm close to the truth." Jiang Chongkong pressed a palm against Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's forehead. "If it's the Heaven Equal Sage's remnant thought, there's no way the Heaven Equal lineage wouldn't have known about it. They would have taken it away long ago. You want to take the supreme treasure? You're not strong enough." Heavenly Monarch Ziwei sneered and transformed into a face identical to his. Boundless divine power surged out, forcing Jiang Chongkong to retreat. The sun divine flame burned fiercely as chaotic divine power intertwined. The projection's expression was cold. The current me possesses the same power as you. Is that so? Jiang Chongkong sneered as the divine power in his body surged. Who told you that I used my full power just now? Bam! A punch landed and the projection exploded. It couldn't even withstand a single attack from him. As the projection perished, rays of golden light appeared, and a golden divine pillar appeared before Jiang Chongkong's eyes. He had reached the end of the road. The sea-steadying divine iron needle. There were no carvings on the pillar, and there was no end in sight. Jiang Chongkong didn't know whether there was a golden circlet or not. There were carvings of true dragons on the divine pillar. Chapter 540. Looking at the divine pillar before him, Jiang Chongkong didn't make a move. He fell into deep thought. How long had it been? He really couldn't feel the passage of time on this ancient path. From the increase in essence, energy, and spirit, he knew that it had been 1 day and 3 hours. He destroyed the phantom and came here. He saw the divine sea-calming needle. The old ape Sun Yuan came to the end of the path in 5 days. He must have seen the treasure too. The other divine apes, the other races, and the immortal emperor had all come to an end. They saw the treasure, but no one could take it away. Thinking of the immortal emperor's soul that had escaped, Jiang Chongkong was in a dilemma. He didn't think he was stronger than the immortal emperor. He stood at the end of the path and looked down. The golden light was so bright that he couldn't see the bottom. This path didn't look like a path either. It was more like a cliff with no end in sight. It definitely won't work if I use force. How did Sun Wukong get it? Jiang Chongkong thought about the story in his mind. However, he couldn't figure it out. Sun Wukong had his own halo. What did the old Dragon King say? Sun Wukong was here. The divine sea-calming needle emitted light automatically. It was rushing to his door. What about him? He wasn't Sun Wukong. The divine sea-calming needle was refined by Sun Wukong. He must have wanted to leave it for the monkeys of Mount Huagua. Demon Emperor, it's up to you. Jiang Chongkong's heart moved. The incomplete immortal position that the Demon Emperor had given him appeared. However, something awkward happened. It didn't change at all. He didn't give the Demon Emperor face. Primordial Demon Emperor, you've really embarrassed the demons. Jiang Chongkong was a little disdainful. He dared to come here because he had the immortal position that the Demon Emperor had given him. They were all demons. Although Sun Wukong was powerful, the Demon Emperor was also terrifying. Shouldn't he give him some face? In the end, he had overestimated the Demon Emperor. There should be a way. Jiang Chongkong retracted his immortal position and flew around the divine sea-calming needle. It shone with golden light and a powerful aura gave him a feeling that it couldn't be shaken. He reached out and touched it without using any divine power. He was pushed back several meters. At that time, Monkey Sun Huh? Jiang Chongkong's gaze suddenly shifted to the cliff-like ancient road. He flew back to the ancient road and said, "Perhaps I've already found the godly sea-steadying iron needle." As soon as he finished speaking, he punched the ancient path beneath his feet. Crack! Fissures appeared on the ancient road as chaos divine energy wreaked havoc. Fissures appeared on the ancient road as traces of golden light blossomed. Although it was very weak, the golden light was very eye-catching. You're the one behind all of that on the ancient road, aren't you? Jiang Chongkong looked excited as he punched out again. More cracks appeared, and the golden light grew stronger. At the end of the ancient road, the godly sea-steadying needle slowly disappeared as the golden light appeared. Back then, the divine sea-pacifying needle didn't shine. In the eyes of outsiders, it was just a piece of scrap metal. Jiang Chongkong said coldly, "Heavenly Monarch Ziwei and I were either heaven's equal remnant will or his severed arm." Thus, the only thing he could rely on was the godly sea-steadying iron rod. Everything on the ancient road was manifested by the godly sea steadying iron rod. As Jiang Changkong's punches continued to land, the light grew stronger. The ancient road cracked and rocks fell to the bottom of the sea. Rumble! The seawater shook as a powerful divine aura was awakening. The fake godly sea steadying iron rod had already become faint and transparent. As the rocks fell, a huge golden divine pillar appeared. It was curved. At the end of the ancient road, a golden hoop appeared. The real godly sea steadying iron rod. Buzz! The godly sea steadying iron rod rapidly shrank and became as thick as an infant's arm, floating in front of Jiang Changkong. Rui Jingu Bang, godly sea steadying iron rod. Jiang Changkong looked at the words carved on it. It felt light in his hand. It was an inferior Grade 4 immortal artifact, but it far surpassed Grade 4. Without 4 to 5 times the strength of the same level, one could forget about picking it up. A message entered Jiang Changkong's mind. Size manipulation. Its might would increase or decrease according to the strength of the user. If a martial immortal held it, it would be a Grade 1 immortal artifact. If a deity held it, it would be a Grade 4 immortal artifact. Jiang Changkong was a little disdainful. It was useless to him. Did he need 4 to 5 times the strength of the same level? His total strength was more than 10 times that of the same level. The godly sea steadying iron rod would not be able to withstand his strength. To other deities, it was a treasure that could greatly increase the strength of the ancient divine ape. Thinking of this, Jiang Changkong held the Rui Jingu Bang and flew into the air. The throne moved away and the entrance appeared. Sun Yuan stood at the entrance and looked at him excitedly. "Senior, I've won our deal." Jiang Changkong flew out of the entrance and threw the godly sea steadying iron rod to him. "Okay, plop." Sun Yuan caught the godly sea steadying iron rod and a huge force pressed down on him, causing him to fall head first. Jiang Changkong, I actually forgot that the godly sea steadying iron rod strength would increase according to the user. In that case, it was also a great killing weapon that he could play with. However, after thinking about it, he let it go. 4 to 5 times the strength of the same level could barely be withstood by a group of the same level. Some secret techniques to protect himself would not smash him to death. After receiving the godly sea steadying iron rod, Sun Yuan panted heavily and laughed loudly. "Changyue, I didn't expect your foundation to be so strong. It is not inferior to the patriarchs. I was just lucky. It seems like Senior already knew where the godly sea steadying iron rod is?" Jiang Changkong said calmly. Sun Yuan sighed softly and said helplessly, "So what if I know? The patriarch has a strong and boundless foundation. Who can compare to the patriarch? Without a strong enough foundation, even if one found it, they could not take it out." It was the same for the ancient road. It varied from person to person. If an immortal emperor went there, it would be an immortal emperor and could not be broken, unless one's strength far exceeded the same level. Jiang Changkong could be considered to have gained an advantage. With his current strength, he would not be able to obtain it even if he increased it by several times. The means left behind by the Supreme Sky Emperor were quite useful. Now that we have taken it out, don't tell me that the ape deity bloodline cannot use it? Jiang Changkong held the Jingu Bang and looked at Sun Yuan. This Sun Wukong is indeed unreliable. Forging a weapon, according to my own standards for the monkeys and grandchildren? Isn't this a joke? Does he think that the monkeys and grandchildren are all 5-colored stones? Sun Yuan panted slightly and said, "No, the patriarchs have been strengthening their foundations all these years. They should be able to use it." Jiang Changkong put down the godly sea steadying iron rod. "That's good. I'll leave it here. Think of a way to transport it away. I don't need to bring it to your patriarch, right? Thank you, Demon Monarch. We will settle the rest." Sun Yuan cupped his hands. "What about us?" Jiang Changkong asked in return. "The Heaven's equal bloodline is willing to serve you as the Demon Monarch. However, we need to see merit and strength. If you become an immortal lord, the immortal lords will listen to you. If you become an immortal king, the immortal kings will listen to you. Sun Yuan bowed slightly and said, "One more thing. You cannot lead us to destruction and send us to our death." Jiang Changkong said solemnly, "If there is a danger of extinction, I, Dong Wang Changyue, will definitely die before you." Sun Yuan guaranteed. "Then, Demon Monarch, please give the order. The heavens' equal bloodline will definitely listen to the Demon Monarch. We will not listen to anyone else, including that egg in the heavenly court." Jiang Changkong was slightly stunned. "I want to save him," Sun Yuan said expressionlessly. "That is the Demon Monarch's matter. The heavens' equal bloodline will only support the Demon Monarch. If the Demon Monarch is willing, we will listen to that egg. If not, we will not listen." Jiang Changkong couldn't figure it out. Was this old ape trying to probe him, or was it sincere? Although the heavenly book could pass judgment, it could not read minds. Thinking of this, Jiang Changkong said, "After saving him, if there is no problem, then he will be the Demon Monarch." "No, the Demon Monarch is not him." Sun Yuan shook his head and said, "Why? The demon race already has the Golden Crow Demon Monarch." Jiang Changkong. Chapter 541. Sun Yuan, this old ape, knew much more than Zhu 19. The demon race always had a Golden Crow demon, the Arch, and it was very powerful. That was the demon emperor of the demon race, and he had even established the demon court. He had many immortal kings as his subordinate. Apart from the ancient bloodline, the entire demon race obeyed his orders. The heavens' equal bloodline and the beast emperor were partners. The divine ape of Mount Huagua was also very powerful. He had an absolute status in the demon clan. If Jiang Changkong had rescued that golden crow egg, he wouldn't have become a demon, the Arch. Unless the current demon emperor was ousted. The demon court only exists in name for a long time. The demon Arch has always wanted to revive the demon court, but it is impossible. What era is it now? From the destruction of the ancient demon court until now, the demon race is no longer the #1 race. The old ape shook his head and sighed. Furthermore, there is no Tao in the world. The demon race has long been divided. They can work together, but they will not submit. Jiang Changkong nodded. It was just like the heavens' equal sect. If they had enough power, they would be partners. Demon thearchs might be strong, but they definitely didn't have the power to subdue all the demon race. Now that Jiang Changkong had the cultivation of an immortal, the ape deity lineage would only allow immortals and those below the immortal level to support him. As for Sun Yuan, this immortal Lord Old Ape, he might help him depending on the situation, but he might not necessarily take action. It was the same for demon thearchs. If you were strong enough, I would listen to you. If you weren't strong enough, then don't bother me. The demon court has always existed, but it doesn't dare to make its name, right? Jiang Changkong chuckled. That's right. Once the demon court is exposed, it will definitely attract the encirclement of the 3 major forces. They won't let the demon court revive, the old ape said solemnly. The primordial demon emperor made me famous in the demon court. Perhaps the demon court also has the power of heaven, but it has not been awakened. Jiang Changkong pondered and said, I'm now a heavenly demon of justice. I should spread the name of the demon court. Whether or not I can awaken the sleeping heavenly Tao depends on whether the demon emperor has other arrangements. A smile appeared on Sun Yuan's hairy old face. This will depend on the spirit demon king's methods. The heavens' equal bloodline only listens to the spirit demon king. The old macaque sounded determined toward the end. Not to mention the egg in the heavenly courts, even if it was the golden crow in the demon court, they wouldn't care about him. Thank you, senior, Jiang Changkong said politely. Sun Yuan then added, You don't have to thank me. This was the deal we made earlier. Furthermore, they have to follow you willingly. The demonic beast emperor cannot force them. Of course. Jiang Chongkong nodded and asked, "How do you plan to help me? Don't tell me you want me to go out and shout? Give Old Ape 2 days. Old Ape will gather the demons in Mount Huagua, including the other demons, to discuss this matter with them." Sun Yuan said, "At that time, let's see if the Demon Emperor can subdue them." "Thank you." Jiang Chongkong cupped his hands. Sun Wu went to deal with it, while Jiang Chongkong rested in the water curtain cave. Not long after, Zhu 19 came and told him what had happened outside. "The Heavenly Court has always been investigating us. Fortunately, Glorybound City didn't ascend." Zhu 19 said, "It's a huge battle array, but I'm not sure about their exact strength. I only know that there are many celestials." Jiang Chongkong said, "Wait for 2 days, then I'll go out and take a look. You have such a high status now, how can I let you take risks?" Zhu 19's expression changed. He hurriedly said, "I already know. You obtained the sea-calming godly iron needle. Heaven's equal has already recognized your demon emperor status. Let's talk in 2 days." Jiang Chongkong waved his hand. Sun Yuan went to gather the demons. Jiang Chongkong chatted with Zhu 19 while studying the celestial title and heavenly book in his body. The celestial title given by the demon emperor still hadn't changed. His celestial title of Justice, the Heavenly Book of Justice, sent him a lot of information. Under the protection of a bunch of deities, Lu Ji obtained a lot of heaven's power through the Heavenly Book of Justice and became a heaven immortal again. One had to say, with a bunch of deities helping him level up, their treatment was even better than his. Jiang Chongkong looked at the information on the Heavenly Book. Lu Ji's previous crimes had turned into great merit. He hated this. If it continued like this, even if he committed heinous crimes, he would still be able to clear his name. If he held a butcher's knife in one hand and did good deeds in the other, he would be fine. If the heaven's power was fully awakened, with the restrictions of the celestial book, he would have to follow the heavenly law to improve. However, if he gathered large amounts of heaven's power and started to do evil, he would just use the heaven's power to cancel it out. He thought about a famous doctor who killed people to save another. The heaven's power now was the same. He killed one, saved one, and everything would be fine. He sighed. The awakening of the Heaven Tao had huge benefits but also restrictions. For the current him, there were only endless benefits. The heaven's power can be used but not relied on. In the future, I have to be above the heaven. Thousands of thoughts appeared in Jiang Chongkong's mind. Only by jumping out of the heaven's restraints could one be truly free. The Heaven Tao could be used as a weapon to control the celestial world, but it couldn't be used as a support. Even the primordial demon emperor, ancestral dragon, and even the current heaven emperor were just chosen by the heavens to be in charge of the celestial world. Zhu 19 brought many spiritual fruits and celestial wine. He also called 2 deity friends. The 4 of them drank and ate in the water curtain cave. There was fish meat here which was caught from the sea outside Huagua Mountain. Normal fish just had celestial energy and couldn't even be considered demons. 2 days passed quickly. A region in the Huagua Mountain range was cleared. That night, a tall platform was set up on the wide and flat ground and god fire burned around it. The demons of Huagua Mountain gathered. There were 36 stone chairs on both sides of the platform. 36 streaks of demonic energy tore through the air and landed on the stone chairs, turning into a half-human half-demon form. Sun Yuan stood on the platform and held a walking stick in his hand. His old body looked like it would collapse at any moment. The demons were silent, including the 36 demon kings. They all looked at Sun Yuan and remained silent. Zhu 19 was also among the 36 demon kings and sat in the middle. 36 demon kings and 10,000 demons. Old Ape has already informed all of you. This time, I have gathered all of you mainly for 2 things. Firstly, to celebrate our heaven's equal bloodline obtaining the sea-calming godly iron. Secondly, the demon emperor has appeared and wants to spread the name of the demon court. Sun Yuan's aged voice resounded in the ears of every demon. Immortal Lord Sun, if you want to celebrate, then we will sincerely congratulate you. However, forget about the Demon Emperor. The demon race already has a Demon Emperor. A greater demon on the stone chair stood up with a disdainful expression. I have seen that Demon Emperor from afar. He is only an early-stage divine immortal. An early-stage divine immortal wants to be the Demon Emperor? Immortal Lord Sun, or is this the Demon Emperor that your heaven's equal bloodline promoted? Another greater demon stood up. Although the heaven's equal bloodline is powerful, their appetite is a little too big if they want to promote the Demon Emperor and unify the demon race. One by one, the greater demons stood up and sneered at Old Ape. Yes, the heaven's equal bloodline wants to unify the demon race. We will not agree. The other demons also joined in. Everyone, please be quiet. Sun Yuan raised his hand slightly. The heaven's equal bloodline will definitely not treat the Demon Emperor as a puppet and have no intention of unifying the demon race. Old Ape has gathered all of you here to inform you of this and to announce that those below the Immortal Lord level who are willing to follow the Demon Emperor can go. The Demon Emperor will not force those who are unwilling. All right, I will not go. An old ape stood up. I, Sun Laosan, only want to cultivate in Huagua Mountain. Chapter 542. Sun Yuan's expression did not change. He had already expected such a situation. Who would be willing to follow an early-stage immortal demon emperor without any background? They might as well follow the demon emperor. I am willing to follow the demon emperor and restore the glory of the demon race. Zhu 19 stood up and said respectfully in a red robe. 19. The two immortal demon kings quickly said. They were the two immortals who had drunk wine with Jiang Chongkong. They were not willing to follow him either. The 36 stone chairs represented the 36 demon kings. 4 of them were immortal monarchs and 32 immortals. They were the top combat power of Huagua Mountain. Old Ape Sun Yuan did not have a seat. He was the initiator and did not need a seat. You are willing? The other demon kings frowned and looked at Zhu 19. You brought him here. Did you guys already discuss this? The Demon Emperor has the determination to fight the world and the courage to fight the heavenly court. Although Zhu 19 is weak, I am willing to follow him and make the demon court famous. Zhu 19 did not fear the gazes of the demon kings. He raised his head and looked at the empty throne. One is willing to follow. Are there any other followers? Old Ape Sun Yuan said indifferently. She is crazy. We will not follow her. An early-stage immortal wants to fight the world and the heavenly court? Disdainful voices sounded. The group of demons mocked. Not to mention an early-stage immortal, even if all the demons here were included, they would not be able to withstand a slap from the heavenly court. Any immortal king sent by the heavenly court could wipe them out. The demon kings sat down and fell into silence. Silence. Sun Yuan pressed his hand and stopped the voices. The old voice continued, I will not say much. Demon Emperor, please have a chat with all of you. If the Demon Emperor has offended you, please do not attack him on account of me. The Demon Emperor will talk to all of you calmly. Immortal Monarch's son is worrying too much. We will not get angry with a junior. An immortal monarch smiled. That's right. We will just listen to him. As long as he does not go overboard, we will not get angry. The 35 demon kings smiled and waved to show that they were magnanimous. The group of demons laughed and treated it as a joke. Demon Emperor, please. Sun Yuan's voice sounded. Boom. A huge sun appeared in the distant sky, and a golden crow that was 1,000 feet long flapped its wings as it flew over. He did not display any godly might. In front of the 4 immortal lords, this bit of godly might was really nothing. The divine fire of the sun flickered, and the golden crow turned into a human. He was wearing a golden crow robe and holding a heavenly book that was surging with demonic aura as he descended onto the platform. "You are the Demon Emperor?" "He's really an early divine immortal," said one of the divine immortal demons. "The combat strength of a demon emperor has long surpassed the immortal realm." Zhu 19 couldn't help but say, previously, the demon emperor had destroyed 10 of the celestial court's deities. One of them was a peak stage deity. He's still a deity after all. An immortal lord snorted coldly and said in disdain. Jiang Changkong said indifferently, "Fellow demon kings and fellow demons, now is not the time to discuss my combat strength. Everyone, let's hear what the demon sovereign has to say first." "It won't be too late to discuss later," Sun Yuan said. The demons quietened down. Sun Yuan's words carried a lot of weight. "Then speak," the 4 immortal lords said indifferently. "Thank you, Senior Ape Celestial, for addressing me as the demon sovereign." Jiang Changkong cupped his fists and said, "I have never thought of becoming the demon sovereign." "Demon sovereign? You also know that you're not worthy?" An immortal demon king could not help but say, "Since you know you're not worthy, then leave." "That's right, we only let you call yourself the demon sovereign because of Immortal Lord Sun and your identity as the Golden Crow," the demons said one after another. Jiang Changkong smiled faintly and waved the heavenly book in his hand. "I have never thought of becoming the demon sovereign. I just want to be a heavenly demon of justice." Heavenly demon of justice. The demons suddenly became chaotic and began discussing. Demon sovereign of justice? Is it the same as the heavenly court's heavenly god of justice? That book is the heavenly book of justice? Many lesser demons did not know that Jiang Changkong had the identity of a heavenly demon of justice. Jiang Changkong threw the heavenly book into the sky and suddenly enlarged, revealing the information on it. Sun Yuan, Peak Immortal Lord, ancient divine ape living in seclusion on Mount Huagua, no merits or fault. Crocodile Lord, ancient divine crocodile, mid-stage immortal lord, slaughtered countless demons and killed countless heavenly soldiers and generals. Great crime, demoted to immortal. Reward: 50,000 heavens power. Greenwood Demon Lord, mid-stage immortal lord, tree demon cultivating in seclusion on Mount Huagua, no merits or faults. Immortal Crane 9 Feathers, mid-stage immortal lord, slaughtered countless heavenly soldiers and generals and destroyed 4 major immortal sections. Great crime, demoted to immortal. Reward: 50,000 heavens power. Shi Wanzai, early stage immortal lord, slaughtered countless heavenly soldiers and generals and thousands of lives. Death penalty. Reward: 50,000 heavens power. None of them could see the reward. The 4 immortal lords' expressions changed at the same time. Greenwood Demon Lord was fine. Sun Yuan already knew about it and was very calm. However, the other 3 immortal lords were not calm. 2 of them had committed serious crimes and 1 was sentenced to death. Demon Sovereign, what is the meaning of this? Are you going to attack us? The 3 immortal lord demons' expressions darkened. Now that Sun Yuan was on Jiang Changkong's side, he would be able to kill them all by himself. This was still Mount Huagua. If Sun Yuan attacked, they would not be able to run. "Don't worry, continue watching," Jiang Changkong said with a faint smile. Next were the immortals. Apart from Mount Huagua and Zhu Jiuzhen, the other immortals had committed serious crimes. Many of them were sentenced to death. It was the same for the demons. Almost all of them had committed crimes. Some had committed so many crimes that death was not enough. "What are you trying to do by showing us this?" Greenwood Demon Lord asked. He had committed no merits or faults, but he wanted to know the truth. Zhu Jiuzhen said, "The heavenly book of justice can show a lifetime's merits and fault. The heavens will make a judgment, and the heavenly demons of justice will execute it. You want to sow discord among us?" Heavenly Lord Crocodile looked at him coldly. Jiang Changkong put away the heavenly book of justice and said with a faint smile, "Heavenly Lord, How did the heavenly court's heavenly god of justice improve so quickly? You should know by now. Enforce the law? Heavenly Lord Crocodile frowned. That's right. The heavenly court awakened the heavens. Once they enforce the law, they will receive the power of heaven, and their strength will improve rapidly. Jiang Chongkong explained, there can be no mistakes in enforcing the law. Once there is a mistake, the power of heaven will weaken, and even the heavenly God of justice will suffer a backlash. It's the same for me. Hypothetically, I'm just saying hypothetically. If I kill Heavenly Lord Crocodile, I can obtain heavenly power. If I kill Greenwood Demon Lord, I will not be of any help. If I kill a demon that has contributed, I will suffer a backlash from the power of heaven. Jiang Chongkong said in a deep voice, so, do you understand? Heavenly Lord Crocodile said coldly, we all understand. What else do you want to say? Looks like you don't understand. Jiang Chongkong smiled and said calmly, from the heavenly court's point of view, Heavenly Lord, most of the demons here are walking power of heaven. The demons. We have become walking heavenly powers? As long as we are killed, our strength will improve rapidly? Sun Yuan said, in the primordial era, there was a saying that merit can help people improve quickly. This merit also comes from heaven. Old Ape thinks it should be the power of heaven. Chapter 543. The monsters were silent. They didn't know what to say. It was hard to accept that they had suddenly become monsters for others to level up. Killing them would allow them to level up quickly? If they could kill others, they would also level up quickly. Of course, they would do that. In ancient times, many monsters relied on merit to become immortals. Jiang Chongkong smiled. Everyone, don't panic. Heavenly Court is the same as you, they are not good people. Monster Monarch, are you saying that if we kill Heavenly Court's people, we can also obtain the power of heaven? Lord Crocodile asked excitedly. Jiang Chongkong shook his head. Not necessarily. Why? The monsters asked. Why couldn't they obtain the power of heaven? That depends on whether the monster court has heaven or not. Although I have an immortal position, it was given by the primordial monster monarch. Jiang Chongkong explained, if the current demon court has a heaven, we will be able to obtain the power of heaven after it recovers. I have already sent a message to the monster court. I believe there will be a result soon, Sun Yuan said. Everyone, it's better to worry about the present if you have any influence. Jiang Chongkong pointed up. Previously, Glorybound City was attacked by Heavenly Court to obtain the power of heaven. The other places were also attacked by heavenly soldiers. Monster Monarch, what should we do? Zhu 19 asked respectfully. Either we start a war with Heavenly Court, or we do our best and wash away our sins. Jiang Chongkong said indifferently, of course, the best way is to leave Heavenly Court's territory immediately and never return. If we leave, what will happen to this place? Sun Yuan asked. Heavenly Court will completely rule this place. I think Immortal Court and Celestial Court will make their move soon. When that time comes, washing away our sins is the best way. Live carefully forever, or see if they are in a good mood and are willing to have a few more dogs. Jiang Chongkong said coldly. The monsters showed ferocious faces. The celestial world belongs to the three factions. If they really do it, they will truly control the celestial world. That's right, the monster race will have no place to hide. Either we fight now or we become dogs in the future. What will you choose? Jiang Chongkong looked up at the sky and roared. Right now, the situation wasn't that bad, but if the Heavenly Court really cleaned up this place, they definitely wouldn't be able to retaliate. When the immortal position was formed, billions of celestial soldiers and generals would arrive in an instant, and they wouldn't be able to escape. No matter how fast one's escape speed was, how could it compare to teleportation? Before they could even escape the East Sea, they would be surrounded and killed by the army. Waiting for death was the best outcome. Jiang Chongkong didn't scare them. What he said was the truth. Zhu-19 is willing to follow the Demon King and pave a way for our demon race. We are willing to follow the Monster King and pave a way for our monster race. Roars resounded and the demons responded. However, the immortals and immortal lords did not respond. Jiang Chongkong raised his hand slightly and the demons quietened down. He said solemnly, I, Dong Huang Chongkong, swear to the heavens that if I lead the demon race to destruction, I will definitely die before the demon race. This was also a promise he had made with Sun Yuan. Walala! The heavenly book trembled, and a strand of the power of heaven formed a special imprint and disappeared. The heavens recorded the oath. Jiang Chongkong was disdainful. When he grew up, the heavens were nothing. With the heavens as his witness, Demon Lord Greenwood said, Greenwood will follow the Demon King. He had not done anything wrong and cultivated diligently to become an immortal lord. However, if he did not participate and allowed the heavenly courts to attack, the pure land of Huagua Mountain would still be ruled by the heavenly courts. Demon King, we will follow you. You won't punish us first, right? Heavenly Lord Crocodile, Nine Feathers Immortal Crane, and Shi Wanzai said at the same time. The other demons who had committed grave crimes and were sentenced to death also looked at him solemnly. This was a heavenly demon of justice. He had to be impartial. Jiang Chongkong put away the heavenly book and placed his hands behind his back. The return of the heavens is inevitable. As a heavenly demon of justice, I am indebted to all of you for your love and worship me as the Demon King. I will give my people a chance to make up for it. Thank you, Demon King. The demons were overjoyed and shouted. Everyone, cleansing your sins is not something that can be done in a day. I can ignore your sins now, but do not commit them again in the future, Jiang Chongkong said solemnly. We will obey the Demon King's decree. In the future, we will not kill the innocent. We will strictly abide by the heavenly laws. The demons responded. Their voices resounded in the sky above Huagua Mountain. With the return of the heavenly laws, the name of the demon court will spread throughout the celestial world and the mortal world. I do not ask you to stop killing, but remember, do not kill for no reason. Jiang Chongkong said coldly. His divine might surged. Other than immortal lords, everyone felt a terrifying pressure. I will not give those who kill for no reason a chance to change. Demon King, don't worry. Heavenly Lord Crocodile said first. I will not tolerate anyone who disobeys the Demon King's orders. Demon King, what should we do next? Zhu-19 asked. Everyone quieted down. Yes, what should they do next? No matter how well they shouted, they would not be able to do nothing. Jiang Chongkong calmed down and looked around. Senior Sun Yuan, do the heavenly courts dare to start an all-out war with the demons? Can we stop the demon army if we attack? Both sides will not dare to start an all-out war unless we can rope in the Celestial Court and Celestial Court, Sun Yuan said. Jiang Chongkong asked, what if the Immortal King appears? That is another level. The Demon Court will respond. Sun Yuan smiled. Then there is nothing to worry about. The first step is to take down Aohai Nation and spread the name of the Demon Court. Let the living beings of Aohai Nation worship the Demon King and the Demon King. Jiang Chongkong ordered coldly. He ordered again, spread the news of the heavenly law's revival. Let those celestial sects and the other factions know. Demon Sovereign, if that's the case, wouldn't we have more enemies? Zhu-19 asked puzzledly. Yes, many celestial sects like to kill demons. The demons said worriedly. Everyone is tempted by the power of the heavens. Since we are going to deal with the heavenly courts, we will announce to the world that the heavenly laws are incomplete. The heavenly Dharch is tyrannical. The people in the heavenly courts are all sinners. Kill them and we will obtain the power of the heavens. Jiang Chongkong smiled. The heavenly courts will massacre for the power of the heavens. Not long ago, the heavenly court's heavenly god of justice destroyed the 3 celestial sects. Why not announce it? Demon King is right. The heavenly Dharch is tyrannical. The people in the heavenly courts are all sinners. It is time for the demons to rise and the demon court to be rebuilt. Overthrow the heavenly courts and rebuild the demon court. Overthrow the heavenly courts and rebuild the demon court. Excited roars resounded. They were fighting for their lives and for the future. Let's go. Our first target, Aohai Nation. Jiang Chongkong ordered. The demons set off. He reminded again, we just need to take down Aohai Nation. Don't kill too much. Demon King, don't worry. I will go personally. Zhu 19 bowed and left with his men. As the group of demons left, Sun Yuan's frail body stood upright as he spoke with a strong voice. Demon Emperor, you've taken down all the demons. Senior, don't you want to fight your way to the southern heaven gate and announce that the heavenly Dharch will come to my place this year? Jiang Chongkong smiled. The old ape doesn't have the ability, but the Demon King does. Sun Yuan smiled and left. Chapter 544. The monsters swarmed into Aohai Nation. The sky was filled with colorful lights. Heavenly soldiers arrived at the capital of Aohai Nation to clean up the monsters. No matter if they were good or evil, no one was left alive as long as they were monsters. The entire Aohai Nation was in chaos. The heavenly soldiers and generals felt the power of the heavens and almost went crazy. Those who benefited from the revival of the heavenly Tao were the targets of the heavens. Rumble. Thick demonic clouds swept over. The monsters came out of the mountains and scattered across Aohai Nation. Zhu 19 looked at the sky. There were still heavenly soldiers and generals hidden in the light. Immortals and great monsters soared into the sky and hit the sky with their palms. Countless heavenly soldiers and generals fell from the clouds. There's an attack from a great demon. A furious roar sounded. Rays of golden light rushed out from the cities of Aohai Nation. With a loud bang, Zhu 19's figure stopped. A peak immortal general blocked his way. Evil monsters, I'm here. How dare you cause trouble? He shouted angrily. The spear light blocked the spider's silk and immortal light shone in all directions. The heavenly court that doesn't distinguish between good and evil is worthy of ruling the celestial world? Zhu 19 grunted and swept his spider legs. The heavenly court is tyrannical. The heavenly Tao belongs to the monsters. The monster court shall prosper. The spear light and the spider silk collided. Two peak immortals flew into the sky, trying not to hurt the innocent. Among the 36 monster monarchs, Greenwood Demon Lord and 20 immortal monster monarchs came. Greenwood Demon Lord didn't attack. He was an immortal lord and shouldn't interfere in such a fight. Last time, 10 immortals were destroyed in Glorybound City. This time, the heavenly court sent more people. There were more immortals than before. There were 25 of them. Another peak immortal general came. They worked together and sent Zhu 19 flying. This monster monarch is mine. Why are you interfering? The previous immortal said unhappily. Cut the crap. There are so many immortals this time. It must be an army. Let's finish them off quickly and get the power of the heavens together. The immortal that just arrived snorted and swept his spear. Zhu 19 used his spider legs to block the spear, but he was no match for the two peak immortals and was forced to retreat. Heaven's power, for the sake of heaven's power, you all have already gone mad. I am a good demon. Zhu 19 shouted coldly. How can an enemy of the heavenly court be a good demon? You disrespect the celestial Dharch, and have no respect for the celestial court. You are undoubtedly an evil demon. The two immortals said coldly. Without the arcane tome of justice, they had no way of determining what was a good demon and what was an evil demon. Good and evil were all judged by the heavens. Dang! A loud sound rang out, and a figure appeared in front of Zhu 19, blocking the spear with a finger. Demon Sovereign! Zhu 19 exclaimed in surprise. You came out personally? Demon Emperor? There's actually a really big fish, the two immortal generals said excitedly. Generals, your sins are grave. You should be celestial immortals. The heavenly book of justice trembled. Jiang Changkong sneered, I will decide good and evil. Your heavenly court has the heavenly god of justice. Our demon race also has the heavenly demon of justice. A majestic divine might surged out, and the divine fire of the sun covered the sky and covered the earth. Judicial sky demon? The expressions of the two immortals changed, and they were sent flying away. Screech! With a long cry, he transformed into a golden crow. The heavenly eye between his brows opened, and divine light shone out. Law enforcement heavenly eye. The two immortals were shocked. The demon race actually gave birth to a judicial sky demon and a law enforcement heavenly eye. The divine light shone down, and the two immortals fell to the sky immortal level. Zhu 19 did not obtain the power of heaven. Perhaps it was because there were only two immortals, and the power of heaven was too little. Jiang Changkong put away the arcane tome and suppressed it in his body. The divine fire of the sun swept out and burned the two immortals. Rumble! The sky shook, and a giant hand that covered the sky appeared and pressed down. Jiang Changkong's heart sank, and the divine fire of the sun shot up into the sky. Demon Lord Greenwood. Demon Sovereign, please step back. A figure appeared, and he raised his palm. Boom! The two palms collided, and there was a loud explosion. A terrifying divine might swept out, and heaven and earth cracked. A gentle green light protected him and Zhu 19. The immortal lord of the heavenly court could not help but make a move. Jiang Changkong had to call out Demon Lord Greenwood. If he did not tell them about the power of heaven, these star lords would not have helped him. Demon Lord Greenwood stepped into the air and fought the star lords of the heavenly court. 19. Let's go and help the other demon monarch. Jiang Changkong gave his instructions and spread his wings. He supported the demon and flew up to face the immortal general. The arcane tome announced that the guilty ones would be killed, and the innocent ones would be suppressed by the arcane tome and killed. When the divine fire of the sun and the chaotic heavenly eye swept across, no one could resist it, be it the immortals or the heavenly soldiers or heavenly generals. Their strength fell, and the immortals became sky immortals, and sky immortals became human immortals. The demons danced, and the demonic clouds engulfed the auspicious clouds, killing the heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals. The ancient divine apes' combat power was not weak, and they were almost twice as strong as their peers. Third Sun swept his iron rod, and an immortal was sent flying. He shouted, "The heavenly court is tyrannical, and the demon court rises again. The demon court rises again, and the demon sovereign is here. Are you still not going to surrender?" The demons reared their heads back and roared. The demonic clouds surged, and their voices shook the sky. Jiang Changkong had just knocked down an immortal. Just as he was about to make another move, the immortal title that the demon sovereign gave him trembled violently. A thick and pure demonic chi, carrying the power of heaven, was emitted from his body and spread out. Traces of golden light appeared in the bodies of all the demons present. Demon record. It corresponds to the immortal record of the heavenly court. It looks like the demon court also has a heaven, but it has not awakened yet. Jiang Changkong pondered, feeling the immortal title in his body. If I make the name of the demon court resound, will it awaken the demon race's heaven? Never mind. Now is not the time to think about this. It's fine as long as it is beneficial to me. Jiang Changkong stopped thinking, and his heavenly eye shone on an immortal. Retreat. Everyone, retreat. A furious shout rang out. A figure covered in blood waved his hand, swept up the heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals, and flew into the sky. Greenwood Demon Lord's face was pale. He returned to Jiang Changkong and said, "Demon Sovereign, I did not disappoint you. Thank you, Demon Lord. Now that the heavenly court has retreated, we should quickly take control of the Aohai nation and spread the news of the heavenly court," Jiang Changkong ordered. Yes. Zhu 19 accepted the order and left. Jiang Changkong asked with concern, "Demon Lord, How are your injuries? I'm fine. Green Wood Demon Lord's body shone with green light, and his face became ruddy again. I am good at healing. Jiang Chongkong nodded and did not say anything else. He flew down and watched the demons move. He was worried that some of the demons would not listen to his orders and would attack countless living beings. Obviously, he was overthinking. Under the leadership of the ancient divine ape and Zhu 19, the demons were still very obedient. Greetings, exalted immortal. The king of the Aohai nation quickly walked over and knelt on the ground. Jiang Chongkong waved his hand, and an invisible divine power lifted the king up. You are the king of the people. You can just stand and talk. You don't have to bow to me. Thank you, exalted immortal. The king bowed again. He was only a martial artist who was close to becoming a god, and he had not become an immortal yet. He was fine in the past, but recently, the heavenly court came down and he bowed to them. He finally managed to serve the heavenly court well, but he did not expect that the heavenly court would be defeated by the demons again. Now, he was very flustered. Jiang Chongkong said gently, "Don't be afraid. If you do not do evil, we will not hurt you, nor will we take a needle or a thread from the Aohai nation." Chapter 545. Aohai nation was the neighbor of the East Sea. The king sat on the throne, his body trembling. Jiang Chongkong and the rest sat on the two sides of the throne. The king had never thought that his nation would be taken over by a bunch of monsters. The deity ancestor of Aohai was trembling, not daring to look at Jiang Chongkong. Beside Jiang Chongkong was Green Wood Monster Lord, a true immortal lord. After a while, Aohai ancestor said carefully, "Lord Monster King, what do you want? Take it and leave. Heavenly Court's army will be here soon." Heavenly Court? That'll have to wait until they're ready for war. Jiang Chongkong stood up and said indifferently, "You asked me what I want. I can tell you that I want Aohai nation." Plop! The king was so scared that he fell off his throne. You want the Aohai nation? Heavenly Court had only taken their resources, but these monsters wanted the entire Aohai nation? At that time, wouldn't he, the king, die? Don't be afraid. You're still the king. Jiang Chongkong smiled. I want Aohai nation. Honor the monster Tharch and the monster king, and create a nation where monsters and humans can coexist. The king. A nation where monsters and humans can coexist? Are you sure you're not joking? Your Majesty, we will definitely honor the Demon Emperor and the Demon Emperor. However, how can the demon race and the human race coexist? The deity ancestor said worriedly, many monsters feed on humans. From today onwards, that won't happen anymore. All things are equal. The spiders can provide warmth. The apes can grow spirit fruits and brew wine. The grass elves can ensure the growth of plants. Jiang Chongkong said calmly, as long as you're obedient, everything will be safe. Yes. The deity ancestor and the king stopped talking. In the end, they still had to listen. Rather than resisting and getting killed, it was better to see what these monsters wanted. Heavenly Court's immortals should arrive soon and chase these monsters away. Rumble! Just as he thought, thunder rumbled in the sky. It was a scene of doomsday. It was different from the auspicious clouds and multicolored lights from before. This time, furious thunder rolled and deities roared. Demons, are you really going to tear up the treaty and start a war with the Heavenly Court? A cold voice drifted over, exuding a supreme immortal might. It was as if a king had descended. The purple clouds in the sky surged forth, suppressing the ocean. Hee, so it's Heavenly Monarch Ziwei. I've always heard of Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's fame, and I finally get to see you today. Laughter could be heard as an old ape carrying a golden pillar flew into the sky. The might of a pinnacle high immortal was like that of a monarch. Even though it was a little strenuous for him to walk on air step by step, the powerful aura he exuded was enough to make one's heart tremble. The divine ape of Mount Huagua? Heavenly King Ziwei's purple robes fluttered in the wind as he stared at the divine ape. That's right, old ape. I didn't expect Heavenly King to still remember Mount Huagua. I'm really excited. The old ape waved the divine pillar and grinned. Aolai Nation, flower and fruit mountain, since ancient times, this has been our territory. This is the Aolai Nation, not the ancient times, Heavenly King Ziwei said coldly. You are also not the heavenly court of the past. The old ape sneered and said firmly, we cannot lose the foundation left behind by our ancestor. Heavenly King Ziwei's eyes narrowed, and his immortal might shook the air. Purple light surged like waves, causing the air to tremble. The old ape's expression darkened, and he could not help but lower his body. If it wasn't for the fact that you are from the heavens' equal bloodline, I would have killed you with one finger, Heavenly King Ziwei said expressionlessly. The old ape was not afraid at all. Heavenly King Ziwei is powerful, but if I die you won't live for long either. Both of them were not afraid of each other's threats. The divine ape was much weaker and was not Heavenly King Ziwei's match. However, behind the divine ape was an even stronger divine ape and the demon race. Heavenly King Ziwei was also supported by the heavenly court. However, regardless of whether they were strong or weak, they both represented the forces behind them. What are you demons trying to do? The demon court? Heavenly King Ziwei said coldly. Not bad, the divine ape said proudly. Heavenly King Ziwei sneered. This will only hasten your demise. The immortal court and divine court won't let you go once the monster race comes out. What we are worried about now is the heavenly court. The immortal court and the divine court are definitely more concerned about the power of heaven. The old ape said plainly, the heavenly court has been keeping this news under wraps, right? Heavenly Monarch Ziwei looked at him coldly and didn't say anything. That person wants to pry into the saint's Tao. Right now, he doesn't have enough heaven's power. The immortal court and the god court will definitely be more than happy to help him. The divine ape looked up at the heavenly king, bared his teeth and said, you don't have to beat around the bush, Heavenly King. Tell me, what's your plan? It was impossible to shed all pretense of cordiality and start an all-out war. The heavenly court did not dare. Once they fell out, the monster race would definitely spread the news of the power of heaven to the immortal court and the divine court. At that time, those two forces would definitely go all out against the heavenly court. The demons did not want to fall out with each other and start a conflict. The heavenly courts would definitely deal with the demons first. The other two major forces were likely to watch from the sidelines and not allow the demon race to grow stronger. What do you want? Tell that monster emperor and heavenly monster of justice to come out. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei harumphed coldly and withdrew his aura. Jiang Chongkong transformed into 1,000 feet tall golden crow and flew into the sky with the heavenly book of justice floating beside him. Power of heaven, heavenly book of justice. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's expression darkened. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei. Jiang Chongkong transformed into his human form and held the heavenly book of justice in his hand. Heavenly Monarch, your speed has truly exceeded my expectations. How can a mere immortal be called a monster emperor? Heavenly Monarch Ziwei said disdainfully. Since Heavenly Monarch Ziwei says so, why don't we have an immortal plot? Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's expression remained unchanged. I have the heavenly eye of justice. Do you think I will agree to an immortal plot? I heard that the heavenly court's heavenly god of justice is equally powerful and also has the heavenly eye. What, do you think that Heavenly Monarch Ziwei is no match for me? Jiang Chongkong smiled indifferently and asked. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's expression remained indifferent, but his heart sank. He had even taken the heavenly court's heavenly god of justice and the heavenly book of justice. How could they send him out? Would the heavenly court's crippled heavenly god of justice still fight for the heavenly court? He felt that the heavenly court's heavenly god of justice was not that magnanimous. Looks like the heavenly court has no one else. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei, How about we change it to an immortal lord plot? Our monster court has plenty of experts. The old ape chuckled. Heavenly monarch Ziwei harumphed coldly. So be it. Let's fight in the East Sea in 7 days. How exactly are we going to compete? Jiang Chongkong asked indifferently. 3 wins out of 5. But I can fight alone. Monster emperors sure are confident. If I win, if the monster race loses, get out of the Heavenly Court's territory and never come back. If the monster race wins, hand over the golden crow egg. Also, don't interfere with the monster court's matters, Jiang Chongkong said coldly. What a big appetite. If the monster race wins, don't even think about getting the golden crow egg. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei looked at him with disdain and waved his hand. Let's go. Monster Emperor, that old B***starred sure left quickly. The old ape cursed. Senior Sun Yuan, I didn't think you could still curse. Let's go back first. Jiang Chongkong smiled and returned to the proud Sea Nation. Chapter 546. In Aohai Nation, the demons used their divine abilities to build a Demon Emperor Palace and a Demon Emperor Temple. The temple enshrined Primordial Demon Emperor Di Jun and Primordial Demon Emperor Eastern Emperor Tai. Jiang Chongkong offered 2 joss sticks and headed towards the Demon King Palace. Yuan Sun, Old Ape, Heavenly Lord Crocodile, and Greenwood Demon Lord were all gathered in the Demon King Palace. That damned Heavenly King Ziwei. He won't release the golden crow egg no matter what. In my opinion, we might as well gather the demon army and attack the Heavenly Court. Everyone, please be quiet. The Demon Emperor has his own plans. Zhu 19 said. Demon Sovereign. Only then did the group of demon monarchs look at Jiang Chongkong, who was sitting on the main seat. Jiang Chongkong was deep in thought. He had only mentioned the golden crow egg on purpose. There was no hope at all that the Heavenly Court would agree to return the golden crow egg. This was something impossible. The golden crow was a member of the royal family of the fiend race. It was not easy for Zhang Xian to capture one, and he also had the golden crow immortal scripture. Hearing their calls, Jiang Chongkong came back to his senses and said calmly, "It's impossible to attack the Heavenly Courts now. There's no need to think about this for now unless the Demon Court agrees. Demon Sovereign, how should we prepare for the Immortals' layout?" The old ape asked. "I can handle it myself," Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. Many of the demon kings were unhappy. "Demon Emperor, how can we let you take the risk? Moreover, with your status, how can you compete with the Immortals of the Heavenly Court?" Zhu Shizhou also said, "Demon Emperor, let 19 go. Even though 19 is far from the Demon Emperor, he isn't afraid of the celestial heavens. Demon Emperor, let us go." Jiang Chongkong raised a hand. The East Sea is under the complete rule of the Heavenly Court. It is the territory conquered by the Heavenly Court's Heavenly God of Justice. During the battle in the East Sea, the immortals and gods of the Heavenly Courts might be strengthened by the power of heaven. You won't be their match if you go. If that's the case, wouldn't the Demon Emperor be in danger? Heavenly Monarch Ziwei is indeed despicable and shameless, the Demon Monarch said angrily. Don't forget, I am a heavenly demon of justice. The Heavenly Court is not the only one who can borrow the power of the heavens. Jiang Chongkong said confidently, the heavens only care about what's beneficial to them. They don't care about the Heavenly Courts or the demons. But, Demon Emperor, that place was conquered by the Heavenly God of Justice after all. If that Heavenly God of Justice of the Heavenly Court makes a move, it will be very troublesome. Zhu 19 said worriedly. Jiang Chongkong frowned. If that's the case, it's going to be troublesome. Don't worry, Demon Emperor. The Heavenly Court's Heavenly God of Justice has already been crippled, a demon monarch said with a smile. Oh! Jiang Chongkong asked curiously, what's going on? According to the Heavenly Court's demonic race, Heavenly Monarch Ziwei stole the Heavenly Book of Justice and gave it to a heavenly soldier. As for the Heavenly God of Justice, He was ordered to go into seclusion in the divine palace of justice and can only move about in the East Sea. The immortal demon monarch sneered. Whether or not the heavenly god of justice will fight for the heavenly court is another matter altogether. Then there's nothing to worry about. Jiang Chongkong smiled and said, "From now on, everyone just needs to focus on developing. Keep your subordinates in check and don't cause any trouble." Demon Monarch, don't worry. 19 has been in charge of Glorybound City for many years and is experienced, Zhu 19 said respectfully. Oh, by the way, did anything strange happen when you fought earlier? Jiang Chongkong recalled that when he called out the name of the demon court, his immortal position trembled, and it even spread to the nearby demonic races. No. The many demon monarchs shook their heads. Then go. I'm in closed-door cultivation. Jiang Chongkong did not say anything more. He let them develop while he sorted out his gains. His spirit, essence, and spirit had reached more than 370,000 points. It was enough to cultivate the Golden Crow immortal scripture to star venerate. However, it was only enough for him to use the 4-revolution profound art or the postnatal primal chaos Dao body to reach Deshang. He added his spirit, essence, and spirit to his profound art. The primal chaos laws in his body grew again. The primal chaos stars shrank, and the primal chaos divine energy compressed and condensed. The quality of primal chaos divine energy became stronger, and vast primal chaos divine energy circulated in his body. That strand of immortal aura also became denser. Deities already had a trace of immortal characteristic. Strands of primal chaos divine energy appeared around Shao Qin, enveloping him like a dense fog. 10 hours later, Jiang Chongkong's transformation was complete. The primal chaos divine energy shrank back into his body. His strength now looked like that of an early-stage divine immortal. Jiang Chongkong, late-stage divine immortal, true god, 4-revolution profound art, Deshang, 1/900,000 postnatal primal chaos Dao body, small perfection, 1/300,000 golden crow immortal scripture, consummation, 1/337500 spirit, essence, and spirit, 75314-inch late-stage divine immortal. Not bad. Jiang Chongkong thought for a while, and prepared to step out of the demon monarch palace to spar with Shi Huanzai, an early-stage immortal lord. Shao Qin frowned. Someone was knocking on the door of the heavenly god palace of justice. It's those two stupid women again. Jiang Chongkong rubbed his forehead, wondering if he should meet them. After thinking for a while, he decided not to meet them. He would go to Flower Fruit Mountain to spar with Shi Huanzai. If he sparred outside, the heavenly court would definitely know his strength. At that time, it would be troublesome. Shao Qin entered Flower Fruit Mountain with Shi Huanzai and headed to the sky above the sea. Hearing that the demon monarch and immortal lord were fighting, many demons stopped and rushed over. Shi Huanzai was covered in green stone skin. He was originally a stone that attained the Tao. It was said that he had been born for thousands of years. He set a goal for himself, which was to become an immortal king within 10,000 years. That was why he was named Shi Huanzai. Above the East Sea, Shi Huanzai's body was emitting green light. With a solemn expression, he said, "Demon monarch, think carefully. You are only an early-stage divine immortal." An early-stage divine immortal looking for an early-stage immortal lord to spar with him felt like he was looking for a beating. I want to see how big the gap is between me and an immortal lord without using the power of heaven. Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. He transformed into his golden crow form and heat surged around him. Be careful. Demon monarch, feel free to come at me. Shi Huanzai said casually. Great sun incinerates the heavens. Jiang Chongkong spread his wings, and the great sun appeared, burning the sky and boiling the sea. A stubborn stone in 1,000 years. Shi Huanzai smiled proudly and turned into a green stone, allowing the great sun to burn him. The great sun evaporated the seawater, but it couldn't move the stubborn stone. Jiang Changkong smiled indifferently. Chaos divine power, chaos golden crow body. The gray chaos divine power, combined with the sun divine fire, increased his power exponentially. Previously, he only used the power of the golden crow immortal scripture, but he couldn't break through Shi Wanzai's defense. Although Shi Wanzai was only an early-stage immortal lord, he was still an expert who had been an immortal lord for many years. Crack! The primal chaos divine power appeared and worked together with the solar divine flame. Cracks actually appeared on the bluestone. Shi Wanzai's expression changed. He turned into his human form and quickly retreated. Demon Monarch, what kind of divine power is this? Chaos Golden Crow. Jiang Changkong flapped his wings. You can't look down on me anymore. Demon Monarch, come. Shi Wanzai's expression turned serious. He took the lead and rushed towards Jiang Changkong. Green light shook the void. Stone shatters the sky. Great sun golden flame. Jiang Changkong let out a long roar. Golden divine fire mixed with gray divine power. Boom! With a shocking explosion, the two retreated at the same time. Shi Wanzai's expression became more serious, and he increased the power in his hand. The power in Jiang Changkong's body was pushed to the limit. He had stepped into the late-stage divine immortal stage. Even without the help of the power of heaven, his battle power was still terrifying. He waved his 3 legs, and the divine fire followed. They clashed again, and the huge pressure made his heart sink. With a thought, he activated the chaos golden body again, and his strength increased sharply. Boom! After a collision, Shi Wanzai was sent flying, and the green stone fell into the sea. He was shocked that his demon monarch could actually injure him. Chapter 547. It was not rare for the golden crow mystic art to increase one's strength. Therefore, Jiang Changkong could use the chaotic golden body without worry. A monster emperor's combat power is so terrifying? He can actually injure an immortal lord. As expected of a monster emperor, the spectating demons cried out in alarm. Of course, the monster emperor took out the ocean-pacifying divine iron. Do you know what the ocean-pacifying divine iron is? It's impossible to take it out without a foundation several times stronger than others. The ancient divine apes raised their heads proudly. The ocean-pacifying divine iron was their ultimate treasure. They were also very impressed by Jiang Changkong, who took it out. Especially when Jiang Changkong had received the godly ocean-pacifying needle, it had been light as if it was nothing. The demons discussed and were shocked by Jiang Changkong's strength. In the sky above the sea, Jiang Changkong and Shi Wanzai were locked in a fierce battle. Shattered azure stones and fallen feathers. The two avoided the vital parts and attacked with ease. Rumble! The seawater instantly evaporated. The azure stone light and the sun divine fire clashed continuously. Jiang Changkong displayed all kinds of offensive techniques of the Golden Crow. Although Shi Wanzai was not as powerful as the Golden Crow, his Immortal Sutra was also top-notch and not weaker than the Golden Crow Immortal Sutra. The demons on Flower Fruit Mountain were intoxicated by the battle. Some peak immortal demons were even more engrossed. The immortal Lord Shi Wanzai's every move had the power of a monarch's law, which surpassed that of an immortal. The immortal aura was extremely dense. Although Jiang Changkong's power of law was slightly inferior, he could make up for the huge difference with the help of chaos. With the Fourth Revolution Xian art, every move he made contained great power. As time passed, more and more wounds appeared on their bodies. Grayish-gold blood and azure blood dripped into the sea. 2 hours later, old ape Sun Yuan came and said indifferently, "Enough, stop." Jiang Changkong and Shi Wanzai retreated at the same time. "I admire your immortal lord's strength," Jiang Changkong said with cupped hands. "Wanzai admires the demon sovereign's strength. If I don't use my full strength, I definitely won't be able to take down the demon sovereign," Shi Wanzai said. Jiang Changkong said gratefully, "Thank you for holding back just now, immortal monarch." Shi Wanzai was very strong, and he was definitely an expert among the early-stage immortal monarchs. In the previous battle, while it seemed like he had fought intensely and it was difficult to determine the victor, in truth, he had not used his full strength. Demon sovereigns are too humble. Ordinary immortal lords who have just broken through are definitely not a match for demon sovereigns. Shi Wanzai smiled and said, "It is definitely a blessing for the demon race to have a demon sovereign." Jiang Changkong smiled and did not say anything else. With his current strength and the power of the heavens, he should be able to take down an ordinary early-stage celestial lord. The two of them came to the old ape's side, and Jiang Changkong asked, "Senior, did something happen outside?" The old ape shook his head and said, "I'm worried that if the fight continues, it will cause serious injuries. The demon monarch still has to deal with the arranged battle with the heavenly court." "It was my thoughtlessness," Jiang Changkong said apologetically. "Oh right, can you please create a detailed map of the territories ruled by the heavenly court?" When he was in the heavenly court, he did not really look at these maps, and only knew that the heavenly court's territory was huge. All this while, he had been guarding the southern heavenly gate or enforcing the law near the East Sea, and did not know much about the other places. "Leave this to immortal monarch Shi," the old ape said. Shi Wanzai nodded and said, "Leave it to me." The old ape took out a jar of wine and handed it to Jiang Changkong. "Demon sovereign, take this to recuperate." Gulp. Jiang Changkong heard the sound of saliva being swallowed. There was Shi Wanzai and the other demons. This was definitely something good. He smiled and said, "Then I will return to the demon imperial palace first. Immortal monarch Shi, please send me off." "All right." Shi Wanzai's expression turned joyful, and he hurriedly left with him. The old ape shook his head and did not say anything. After returning to the demon imperial palace, Jiang Changkong divided the jar of wine into 6 portions and gave one to Shi Wanzai. "Give one to the 3 immortal monarchs and 19. Don't be greedy or you won't get any next time." "Thank you, demon sovereign." Shi Wanzai hurriedly accepted his portion. "Demon sovereign, are we really going to divide it like this? This is a top-grade immortal wine, and it is very useful for immortal monarchs' cultivation. Take it, you guys have worked hard." Jiang Changkong said generously. There was no essence, qi, or spirit, so he naturally did not care. Moreover, he wanted to build a good relationship with these immortal monarchs. These immortal monarchs had come mainly because of what he had said before. They did not want to be dogs in the future, they did not want to be enslaved by the heavenly court, and they did not want to be killed by the heavenly court. Together with the benefits of the power of heaven, these immortal monarchs were tempted. They were not loyal to him, and there was still the Golden Crow Demon Emperor among the demons. Jiang Changkong could only try his best to build his own team. It would be ugly if all his subordinates betrayed him with a single order from the Demon Emperor. He did not want to work for others, nor did he want to be like the heavenly court, who would be kicked away after being used up. After Shi Wanzai left, Jiang Changkong poured a mouthful of immortal wine and drank it to heal his injuries. The majestic medicinal power dissolved, and the injuries on his body healed quickly. He kept the rest of the immortal wine and would reward them in the future, or give it to Little Dragon King and the others. After cultivating and refining the medicinal power, Jiang Changkong began to heal his injuries in the Demon Emperor Palace. 3 days passed. East Sea. Jiang Changkong and Little Dragon King were patrolling the East Sea to check the current situation. There were still many places in the East Sea that were not ruled, but there were no living beings here. These places were dusty lands, and it did not affect the rule of the East Sea. Dragon King, substitute Dragon King, 2 fairies have come to visit, saying that they are looking for the substitute Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle swam over. 2 fairies. Jiang Changkong frowned and looked at Little Dragon King. "Let's go back." He left with them in a flash, and when he reappeared, he was already in the East Sea Dragon Palace. Ao Qingyu was entertaining the two fairies, and when she saw him return, she stood up and made way. "It's really you. Why did you come to the East Sea?" Jiang Changkong's expression was indifferent as he sat down at the side. "Heavenly God of Justice, it's like this. The demon race has conquered Aohai Nation." Fairy Violet Orchid told him the matter. "The Immortals' plan was set in the East Sea." "The Immortals' plan is set in the East Sea? Isn't this causing trouble for our East Sea?" Little Dragon King said angrily. "One had to know that the East Sea now only had one immortal, Jiang Changkong. If they fought, the East Sea would suffer countless deaths and injuries. This is decided by the demon race. Royal Father can't do anything about it," Fairy Violet Orchid said helplessly. "Demon race? This was clearly decided by Heavenly King Ziwei." Jiang Changkong sneered in his heart, but he said calmly on the surface, "When the time comes, the sea race of the East Sea will retreat." "Thank you, fairies." Fairy Violet Orchid said, "No, we came to you to tell you that with your strength, you will definitely be able to defeat that dog-shit demon emperor. At that time, we will go and enforce the law together." Fairy Yushua nodded. "This way, you can take back the Heavenly Book of Justice. Fairies don't have to worry about it. I have never thought of taking back something that I have given away," Jiang Changkong said indifferently. "Why can't you understand the good intentions of others? Right now, the Heavenly Court is selecting the strongest. When the time comes, you will be the first to attack, defeat the Demon Emperor, and restore your power." Fairy Violet Orchid said eagerly. Jiang Changkong looked at them indifferently. "Fairies, what do you want to eat?" "We are not here to eat. Prime Minister Turtle, serve the dishes." Chapter 548. Jiang Changkong, are you listening to us? Do you really want to stay in the East Sea for the rest of your life? Fairy Zilon stood up and said angrily. Jiang Changkong smiled faintly. "The East Sea is pretty good. There's the Dragon King and the Sea Race. Why can't I stay here for the rest of my life?" "You're so different from the previous Heavenly God of Justice." Fairy Yushue frowned. "It's the same wherever I am," Jiang Changkong said calmly. "The key is that I can't beat my main body now, let alone restore my power. My main body is super powerful and can already beat immortal lords. This East Sea clone was left from before. It can only kill deities, not immortal lords. Besides, the monster race is so good. They always talk about monster emperors. All of them are geniuses and their words are super nice. With such good treatment, if I don't go over, why should I fight for the Heavenly Court? Isn't this a joke? You're just going to watch and let them fight for your benefits and power?" A trace of anger appeared on Fairy Yushue's pretty face. "The Heavenly Court is now fully nurturing Lu Ji and the Chaos Body. Fairies, since the Heavenly Court has full confidence in this battle, why come to me? Even if I make the first move and can defeat that monster emperor, what's the point?" Jiang Changkong said indifferently. "That's merit. If you defeat the monster emperor first, it's a great merit. When the time comes, you'll definitely be rewarded," Fairy Yushue said. "You're still as stupid as ever." Jiang Changkong shook his head and sighed. "Jiang Changkong, you always make us angry," Fairy Zilon said angrily. Jiang Changkong looked at the fish and prawns sent by Prime Minister Turtle. He peeled the shell and ate it himself. "Did I make any merit before?" The two fairies were silent. Jiang Changkong had just brought back the golden crow egg. "That was a great merit. Since you're here, try the delicacies of the East Sea and relax for 2 days." After saying that, Jiang Changkong looked at Little Dragon King and said unhappily, "I already said, don't eat it raw." This was Little Dragon King's bad habit. He liked to eat sea races creatures raw. No matter how he was persuaded, he wouldn't change. Ao Qingyu didn't say anything. She also wanted to eat it raw. She would eat it secretly every time. The two fairies didn't say anything else. They had also taken it for granted. So what if the heavenly courts don't want to use it? Why are they still sticking their faces to us? After slapping the left side of his face, he even extended the right side of his face? Jiang Chongkong was thinking about how to fight his way up to the heavenly court and become the strongest existence in the celestial world. In the following time, Jiang Chongkong's sub-body brought the two fairies to play in the East Sea. They looked at the underwater scenery and took them to the fishing village by the sea. The fishing villages that he had subdued were now living very well, living in peace and contentment. Jiang Chongkong's main body was studying a map of the world of immortals. Shi Wanzai had already finished drawing the map of the territories ruled by the heavenly court. It had to be said that some celestial sects were very powerful. Even if a celestial king went there, he would have to smile apologetically. There were two major celestial sects in the territories ruled by the heavenly court. It was said that their patriarchs had secluded themselves for many years and no longer cared about worldly affairs. Those two patriarchs were even honored guests of the heavenly emperor, who had once invited them to become an overlord in the skies, only to be politely declined. One was the immortal sect of Zhen Yuan, which was said to have a legacy from the ancient era, and was founded by great immortal Zhen Yuan, the ancestor of the earth immortals of Wu Zhuang Monastery. The other was the Penglai immortal sect, which had a legacy from the ancient era. The patriarchs of those two immortal sects possessed unfathomable power, and no one knew what level they had reached. All they knew was that these two immortal sects were as steady as Mount Tai in the face of chaos. Aside from those two immortal sects, there were other factions. Some of the more powerful immortal sects had immortal monarchs and immortal kings. There were also some nations. The Proud Sea Nation was a small nation, while most major nations had immortal kings. There were 4 major nations: Heaven, Sky River, Xianqing, and Great Wilderness. The Sky River Kingdom was the closest to the Proud Sea Nation. Basically, those were the territories ruled by the heavenly court. Any further and they would be outside the heavenly court. After putting away the maps, Jiang Chongkong listened to the reports from the demons about the Proud Sea Nation. Some lesser demons were willing to live in the Proud Sea Nation. Some humans also tried to take care of the younger demons and raise them together. Everything was going well. These demons all wanted the power of the heavens. Having the power of the heavens meant that one's destiny would not be bad in the future. As the people of the Proud Sea Nation worshipped the demon emperors and demon emperors, the immortal title in Jiang Chongkong's body changed again. Streaks of faintly discernible energy flew out of his body and went somewhere unknown. The demons near the Demon King's palace were also changing silently. Di Jun, what does your immortal title mean? Jiang Chongkong manifested his divine spirit and held the immortal title, so nothing could be seen. I wonder if the heavenly court will pay more attention to the heavenly god of justice after this is over. Jiang Chongkong opened the heavenly book and received a lot of feedback. Under the heavenly court's full nurturing, Lu Ji had already reached the late-stage divine immortal. He believed that he would soon reach the pinnacle of the divine immortal realm, and he also had the power of the heavens. Apart from him, there were 4 other pinnacle divine immortals, including the chaotic body, who could all come into contact with the power of the heavens. With the power of the heavens and the strength of a pinnacle divine immortal, he could really be said to be an invincible existence in the divine immortal realm. However, his combat power had already surpassed the divine immortal realm. Of all the choices, he actually chose the East Sea. Wasn't he courting death? The East Sea is my territory. After putting away the heavenly book of justice, Jiang Chongkong closed his eyes and waited for the battle. Lu Ji and the others had the help of the heavenly court, so they were treated better than him. They directly let the immortals and those from the lower realms line up to see if they were guilty and enforce the law. This way of obtaining the power of the heavens was too fast. If he had been treated like this back then, he would probably be a real immortal lord by now. Thinking of this, it was impossible for Jiang Chongkong to not feel angry. He wanted to smash the heavenly court, but unfortunately, he couldn't do it now. Time didn't pass any faster because of his anger. Jiang Chongkong almost endured the rest of the time. The day of the battle finally arrived. Old Ape's son Yuan personally brought him to the East Sea, accompanied by Greenwood Demon Lord and Shirwanzai. Zhu 19 also followed. The other monster monarchs were all stationed in Aohai Nation. Light shone in the sky above the East Sea. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei personally led the heavenly soldiers and 5 immortals. The East Sea's sea race retreated to the Ascension Pond under the leadership of the Dragon King. The 2 fairies were also there, so was Jiang Chongkong's secondary body. Old Ape somersaulted and brought Jiang Chongkong and the others to the sky above the East Sea. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei, you found these 5 pieces of trash? Jiang Chongkong stood still and looked at Lu Ji and the others disdainfully. Monster, don't be so arrogant. I will capture you alive later. Lu Ji raised his head and looked down at him. Recently, Lu Ji's life had reached its peak. He was full of joy and didn't take any immortals seriously. The other 4 immortals were also disdainful. A monster dares to challenge the authority of the heavenly court? How reckless! Heavenly Monarch Ziwei doesn't know how to teach people, but I can teach them how to behave in their place. Jiang Chongkong rose into the sky and looked around. Where is the heavenly court's heavenly god of justice? Are you too scared to come out after seeing me, the heavenly monster of justice? Lu Ji jumped out and shouted angrily, How dare you! I am the new heavenly god of justice. Jiang Chongkong glanced at him and snorted. Are you worthy? Chapter 549. Lu Ji was thoroughly agitated by the question, Are you worthy? His expression was ferocious, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Monster, I will kill you today. Enough. Heavenly King Ziwei shouted and looked at Jiang Chongkong. Monster Emperor, do you really want to fight 5 rounds alone? 3 rounds are enough, Jiang Chongkong said calmly. Maybe you will admit defeat after 1 round. Arrogant, Heavenly King, please fight me, Lu Ji said impatiently. He couldn't wait to strike and kill this so-called demon emperor. He wanted to let him know that he was the new heavenly god of justice and had the right to be the heavenly god of justice. In fact, he wanted to tell everyone that he was stronger than Jiang Chongkong and had done better than him. Nanhe you go. Heavenly King Ziwei ignored Lu Ji and looked at a peak immortal. Yes, Heavenly King. Nanhe stepped out of the Heavenly Court's team. Lu Ji was a little displeased, but the voice beside his ear calmed him down. Watch this monster emperor carefully and find his weakness. Lu Ji quickly returned to his original position and looked at Jiang Chongkong coldly. Monster Emperor, be careful, Zhu 19 said in a low voice. Don't worry, they're just a bunch of trash. Jiang Chongkong said disdainfully and stepped into the battlefield. Under the sea, Jiang Chongkong used the power of the heavens to observe the changes in the sky. What right does this Lu Ji have to call himself the heavenly god of justice? Fairy Xylan said angrily. I didn't realize it before, but now it seems that he's just an arrogant villain, Fairy Yushua said coldly. But this monster emperor is so arrogant. Fairy Xylan looked at Jiang Chongkong strangely. He's even more arrogant than you. Jiang Chongkong. That's me. If I wasn't afraid of the heavenly court, I would be even more arrogant. Do you believe me? I really don't want Lu Ji to win, but this concerns the interests of the heavenly court, and this monster emperor is so arrogant. I better pray that the other immortals of the heavenly court win. The 2 fairies looked at the battle that was about to begin and said softly. In the sky above the East Sea, General Nan, he was at the peak of the immortal realm. Gray primal chaos energy interweaved in the sky. This was a primal chaos body. I heard that the heavenly court's heavenly god of justice is a chaotic body. It looks like the heavenly court is ready to replace him. Jiang Chongkong sneered and looked at Nanhe indifferently. Can you become the new heavenly god of justice? It's enough to kill you. With a cold bellow, Nan He's spear, a top-tier grade 4 immortal artifact, was like a dragon. Its might was pushed to the limit. Jiang Changkong's aura was concealed as he pointed his finger. Ding! The spear stopped, and his index finger collided with the spear. Surprisingly, it was not injured at all. It would appear that your chaotic body is still lacking. Jiang Changkong sneered. Divine light burst out from his fingertips, and the divine fire of the sun rose. The terrifyingly high temperature caused the top grade 4 celestial artifact to quickly become boiling hot and red, showing signs of melting. Kill! With a cold shout, an indescribable force of heaven rose from Nan He's body. In an instant, Nan He's aura skyrocketed. A supreme and noble aura was emitted. Heaven's blessing! You're far from it. Jiang Changkong snorted and waved his hand. The divine fire of the sun swept out. Boom! Splat! Gray immortal blood splattered into the East Sea. General Nan He fell into the East Sea like a shooting star. Rumble! Terrifying shockwaves surged, and the seawater turned upside down. The East Sea shook, and countless amounts of gray immortal blood merged into the seawater. Nan He's head tilted to the side, and he fainted. Jiang Changkong said calmly, Heavenly King Ziwei, please send an expert out. The monster emperor is mighty. How can these useless people of the heavenly court be a match for the monster emperor? Zhu 19 said proudly. Sun Yuan, the old ape, also stood up straight. Compared to the monster emperor, these useless people of the heavenly court are only inferior to old ancestor Qi Tian. 108,000 miles. Heavenly King Ziwei's expression did not change. He said calmly, It's just one round. Lu Kuan, you'll fight this round. Yes, Heavenly King. Lu Kuan's expression was solemn. The power of heaven gathered in his body, and his supreme aura appeared again. He surpassed the immortal realm and was infinitely close to the immortal Lord realm. The 5 immortals chosen by the heavenly court were not chosen randomly. They were truly powerful immortals. Previously, Nan He had the cultivation of a peak immortal, and with the chaos body, it was almost impossible to find a match for him in the immortal realm. Although Lu Kuan did not have a special immortal body, he had a trace of the bloodline of an ancient demon, Lu Wu. The moment he attacked, Lu Kuan activated the demon blood in his body, and a huge illusory image of Lu Wu appeared behind him. Human face, tiger body, tiger claws, and 9 tails. Jiang Changkong said calmly, You should belong to the monster race. Monster race? Just a bunch of beasts. Lu Kuan sneered and charged over on his immortal artifact. You can't either. Jiang Changkong said calmly. He flipped his hand and the divine sun fire swept out. Boom! The divine sun fire devoured Lu Kuan directly, and the gray chaotic divine power was mixed within. Bang! Lu Kuan was unable to resist at all. The difference between the two was too great. He fell down, and the fragrance of meat wafted from his body. Jiang Changkong looked at Heavenly Monarch Ziwei again. Heavenly Monarch, it's too obvious that you went easy on them. Why did you choose 2 such weaklings? Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's expression changed slightly. Monster Emperor, you haven't won yet. I hope you can still be so arrogant. I'm used to being arrogant. I don't know what it means to keep a low profile. Jiang Changkong raised his head slightly and looked at the immortals. Let's end this farce. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei harumphed coldly and gave Lu Ji a look. Lu Ji could not wait any longer. He charged out and opened the heavenly book of justice. Beast, atone for your sins today. Jiang Changkong's mouth twitched. I'm a heavenly monster of justice. You idiot, can't you get the information? Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's face darkened. If a heavenly monster of justice was guilty, how could he take on the role of justice? The heavenly book slowly opened, and a message appeared. Dong Wang Changyue, a heavenly monster of justice who has made countless contributions. Lu Ji. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei and the Immortals. It was fine if he was a heavenly monster of justice who had made countless contributions. But what the f*ck was this? Why would the heavens be angry if he was killed? Just whose side was the heavens on? This was even better than the heavenly court's heavenly god of justice. What, are you scared? Jiang Chongkong suppressed his laughter and looked at them with disdain. I'm the real deal. You imposters don't even have immortal positions. Do you think you can beat me in terms of the power of the heavens? Lu Ji took a deep breath and suppressed the shock in his heart. He then threw the heavenly book into the sky. Whoosh! Boundless power of the heavens surged into Lu Ji's body. The blue ocean also released bursts of power to enhance Lu Ji. Boom! A boundless aura rose, and the aura of a monarch exuded from his body, allowing Lu Ji to break through the limits of an immortal. The immortal lord had reached the immortal lord level. Lu Ji was like a high and mighty monarch looking down at Jiang Chongkong. The heavenly book shone and enhanced him. Monster, even if I don't kill you, I can still suppress you here for countless years. Do you really think you're the heavenly god of justice? Jiang Chongkong sneered, and the heavenly book vibrated. Demonic aura surged into the sky along with the power of the heavens. No, a tragic cry sounded. Before Lu Ji could feel this power, his body was like a deflated balloon, and his power rapidly dropped. Chapter 550. This emperor is the heavenly demon of the heavenly court of justice. And you, a fake, think you're the heavenly god of justice just because you have the heavenly book? Jiang Chongkong sneered and transformed into the form of a golden crow. His ferocious aura soared into the sky. Heavenly monarch Ziwei's expression changed drastically. A ray of purple light entered the East Sea. Demon monarch, hurry up and attack. That heavenly monarch Ziwei must be shameless enough to go find the heavenly god of justice. Zhu 19 hurriedly said. Lu Ji's expression changed, and he quickly retreated. As long as heavenly monarch Ziwei could find the heavenly god of justice and bestow upon him, his combat prowess would reach the immortal lord level and he would be able to crush a demonic emperor in one fell swoop. There's no rush. Take another look at my heavenly book. Jiang Chongkong's expression was cold. The heavenly book appeared. Lu Ji, stealing the heavenly book of justice, a capital crime. Reward: 10,000 power of heaven. Jiang Chongkong didn't expect to have such a pleasant surprise when he saw Lu Ji again. Only Lu Ji, who stole the heavenly book of justice, was sentenced to death. No, I didn't steal this. This is fake. This heavenly book of yours is fake. Lu Ji roared. The heavenly book of justice had clearly been bestowed upon him by heavenly monarch Ziwei, not stolen by him. Goodbye, Jiang Chongkong said indifferently and slapped Lu Ji with his palm. Heavenly monarch Ziwei wanted to move, but he was stopped by the old ape. Below, Zi Guang shouted coldly, Jiang Chongkong, what are you waiting for? The only response he got was silence. Boom. The divine fire of the sun mixed with the power of heaven engulfed Lu Ji. The divine fire burned and turned the celestial artifact into ashes. The tome of justice escaped into the East Sea and disappeared. Heavenly King, best of 5, our demon race has won. In the future, do not interfere with the actions of the demon race. Jiang Chongkong raised his head and said coldly. Heavenly monarch Ziwei's lips moved, but he didn't know what to say. We won't disturb Heavenly King any longer. You have to choose a new heavenly god of justice. Goodbye. The old macaque chuckled and left on a cloud with Jiang Chongkong and the others. Jiang Chongkong, come out and see this king. Heavenly King Ziwei roared in anger. Purple light filled the sky, thunder clouds surged, and the East Sea shook as if doomsday had arrived. Heavenly monarch Ziwei sure is angry. With his hands behind his back, Jiang Chongkong flew out of the East Sea with the tomes of justice in his hand. Heavenly King, I have come to deliver the tomes of justice to you. Heavenly monarch Ziwei said coldly, Jiang Chongkong, why didn't you attack just now? Did you know that taking the tomes of arcane is a crime punishable by death? Heavenly King, if you don't need this heavenly book, I'll throw it away. Jiang Chongkong threw it away casually and sank into the East Sea. Stop! Heavenly Monarch Ziwei roared coldly with killing intent in his eyes. Do you really think I don't dare to kill you? Heavenly King, give it a try. Jiang Chongkong snickered and walked to Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's side. This is no longer the past. The heavens are watching. If you want to destroy the judiciary and the Eastern Sea, then go ahead and try. You represent the Eastern Sea? Heavenly Monarch Ziwei asked coldly. Heavenly Monarch, you can consider changing to a Dragon King. A tender voice sounded, and the little Dragon King of the Eastern Sea rushed out of the sea. I represent the Eastern Sea as a substitute Dragon King. I don't mind joining the monster race. Welcome, the monster race welcomes the entire sea tribe of the Eastern Sea. Spatial fluctuations appeared, and Jiang Chongkong and the others returned. You didn't leave? Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's expression was extremely ugly. How can I miss such a great show? Jiang Chongkong smiled. Heavenly God of Justice, why don't you join the monster race and become the Heavenly Monster of Justice? I can be the Monster Emperor in peace. Monster race, don't go too far. The Heavenly God of Justice belongs to the Heavenly Court. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei roared angrily. Jiang Chongkong's sub-body said indifferently, the Heavenly God of Justice enforces the law on behalf of the heavens. He is the Heavenly God of Justice, not the Heavenly Courts. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei, that really did seem to be the case. Was it really okay for him to join the monster race? This is the Heavenly Court's matter. The monster race should leave, Heavenly Monarch Ziwei said coldly. Jiang Chongkong shrugged. Heavenly God of Justice, Dragon King of the East Sea, I'll be waiting for you. The Heavenly Court is tyrannical. If you treat meritorious subjects like this, why don't you join my demon court and build a new world? After saying that, the old ape left with them. This time, they really left and returned to the Ao High Nation. Heavenly God of Justice, come back and see me. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei harumphed coldly and left. Depends on my mood, Jiang Chongkong's sub-body said indifferently before throwing out the Heavenly Book of Justice. Heavenly Monarch, you forgot to bring your Heavenly Book. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei was enraged. Depends on my mood? Did he not take me, a Heavenly Monarch, seriously at all? If you really dare to join the monster race, I won't let the Eastern Sea off. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei threw down a threat before putting away the Heavenly Book and leaving with his troops. Within the Eastern Sea, Jiang Chongkong brought them back to the Dragon Palace. In the Ascension Pond, Shrimp Dahai was still condensing his immortal body. With so much immortal blood, he had already become an immortal. Heavenly God of Justice, you won't really join the monster race, right? What Father said just now must have been said out of anger. Don't take it seriously, Fairy Xylan hurriedly said. The Eastern Sea doesn't welcome you, Little Dragon King said angrily. Prime Minister Turtle, take the two fairies and leave. Let's go. Yu Shui shook her head and left with Xylan. The Eastern Sea Dragon Palace was sealed with divine power. Ao Qingyu sat at the side and said indifferently, Dong Wang Changyue, Heavenly Monster of Justice. What a familiar name and identity. What do you think, Chongkong? Do your own thing and don't think too much. Jiang Chongkong coughed lightly and said, next time, don't eat raw seafood. Ao Qingyu didn't say anything else. When Jiang Chongkong was in the mortal world, he used the alias Jiang Changyue. Now, Dong Wang Changyue suddenly appeared, and he was also a heavenly immortal of justice. Even though many things were impossible, Ao Qingyu still believed that Dong Wang Changyue was also this guy. He actually became the Monster Emperor of the monster race and the Heavenly Monster of Justice. Normal people really couldn't accept such a change. On the other side, Old Ape brought them back to Ao High Nation and told the monster race about this matter. The monster emperor easily suppressed the three deities and almost angered heavenly King Ziwei to death. Let me tell you, the heavenly court is really despicable. They actually suppressed the heavenly god of justice and even snatched the heavenly book. Zhu 19 laughed and told the monster monarchs about this matter. In the end, the monster emperor even invited the heavenly god of justice to join the monster court. You didn't see Ziwei's old face turn black. Heavenly god of justice, sigh, what a pity. I thought he was someone comparable to that ancient person. Old ape Sun Yuan sighed and said, that person is said to be above billions of deities. I guess the heavenly court is also afraid of this matter. That should be the case. The heavenly god of justice is too powerful. If he doesn't make mistakes, no one can suppress him. Hearing this, Jiang Chongkong smiled faintly and said, back then, the heavenly god of justice and the Queen Mother also had to abide by the heavenly laws. Would the heavenly god of justice dare to do it? As long as the heavenly god of justice violates the heavenly laws, the heavenly god of justice has the strength to take him down. Sun Yuan explained, it's just that the heavenly god of justice is the ruler of the heavenly court after all. His strength is far above the heavenly god of justice. Jiang Chongkong nodded. That's right. However, that heavenly god of justice doesn't listen to orders. The heavenly court probably wants to prevent this from happening. They want to kill the heavenly god of justice. Chapter 551. The position of heavenly god of justice was too terrifying. As long as one was strong enough, as long as they broke the heavenly law, anyone could do it. It was expected that the heavenly court wanted to be in their hands. It's a pity that the heavenly god of justice doesn't know how to make mistakes. Sun Yuan shook his head. He's too straightforward. If he makes a mistake and the heavenly court gets hold of him, he wouldn't be here today. But then, he won't be able to resist the heavenly court and will forever be a dog. Jiang Chongkong said indifferently, now that we've pressured the heavenly court, even if the heavenly god of justice doesn't get any benefits, his life will be a little better. But he won't be grateful to us, Zhu 19 said. We just have to do our best. The heavenly god of justice can't break the heavenly law and kill the innocent. Jiang Chongkong smiled. Jiang Chongkong closed his eyes and some heavenly laws appeared in his mind. The difference between mortals and immortals, humans and demons, these were all set by the heavens. But that was in the past. After so many years, it was time to change, starting from Aohai Nation. Jiang Chongkong reasoned with the immortal for the first time. In the eyes of the heavens, all living beings are equal. Why is there a difference between mortals and immortals? Why can't humans and demons live together? The immortal sent a message. The difference is too big. If one is not careful, there will be a disaster and the lives of mortals will be disrupted. In the ancient times, mortals and immortals coexisted. How do you explain that? At that time, there were many immortals in the mortal world I was in, said Jiang Chongkong. I'm not sure. The heavens haven't fully recovered. I don't know what happened back then, the immortal said. Jiang Chongkong said indifferently, you and I are dependent on each other now. I want the power of the heavens and you want to recover. Why don't we change together? The immortal said, the heavens are always changing, but they will never change. Small changes can be made, but the big changes can't. Sometimes small changes can become big changes, just like the butterfly effect. I believe you know what that is. Jiang Chongkong said calmly, everything changed after I came here. The heavens can't stop you now. You can try it in Aohai Nation. The heavenly tomes won't appear. They violate the laws of heaven. Humans and demons temporarily coexist. Many places in the immortal world are like this. Previously in the heavenly court, I fell out with the heavenly court. Now that the demons are here, I don't know how long I can last. Now that I'm talking to you, I don't know if we'll turn against each other in the future. Jiang Chongkong laughed at himself. After entering the immortal world, it seemed like he couldn't get along with anyone except for the East Sea. When the time comes, when you have the strength, you can walk on your path of success. The heavens have their responsibilities. After saying that, the immortal occupation sank into silence. Jiang Changkong's consciousness returned. Heavens, you are indispensable to the path of cultivation. The power of heaven has so much essence, qi, and spirit, how can I let it go? Jiang Changkong felt that if he had the strength, he might not be able to restrain himself from attacking the heavens. Zhu 19 and the others had already left to deal with the affairs of the Aohai nation. During this period of time, the name of the demon court had spread. The entire Aohai nation was paying respects to the primordial demon emperor and primordial demon emperor. The nearby demons also came to seek refuge, and the number of demons under Jiang Changkong also increased. With more subordinates, it was inevitable that some would be disobedient. Jiang Changkong didn't stand on ceremony and directly took over. This way, some demons who were unwilling to abide by the heavenly rules could only leave. The demons also spread the news according to his instructions. The heavenly court was going to carry out a great purge to obtain the power of heaven. Some demons who wanted to run immediately ran back in fear and obeyed. The demons who wanted to run would die if they were caught by the heavenly court unless they could run out of the territory ruled by the heavenly court. Zhu 19 also spread the news of the immortal layout of the demon court and the heavenly court. Once they joined the demon court, the heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals of the heavenly court couldn't kill them for no reason. Small-scale battles depended on their own abilities. Large-scale battles wouldn't happen for the time being. As the reputation of the demon court spread, the immortal occupation in Jiang Changkong's body shook violently and continuously released a special aura. A month later, the immortal occupation in his body shone brightly, affecting all the demons who joined the demon court. In the distant region, the hiding place of the demon court finally welcomed a change today. A special power was awakened. A golden crow looked up to the sky and let out a long cry, prying into the legendary realm. Power of heaven, old ape sensed the power of heaven. Sun Yuan entered the Demon Emperor Palace excitedly and reported the matter. Demon Emperor 19 has already obtained the power of heaven and is vaguely at the immortal Lord realm. Zhu 19 also came. Demon Emperor, quickly let me see if my sins have been washed away. Shi Wanzai hurriedly said, during this period of time, I have been doing good deeds and abiding by the heavenly rules. Jiang Changkong took out the heavenly book. Shi Wanzai was still sentenced to death, but there was an additional line on it. It was to repent and work hard to wash away his sins. Thank you, Demon Emperor. I will definitely work hard. Shi Wanzai said excitedly. Old Ape also wants to quickly obtain the power of heaven and step into the immortal king realm. Old Ape's son Yuan chuckled. The demon court was in full swing. Many great demons had tasted the sweetness of the benefit. Now, they no longer had the violent hearts of the past and began to change. Jiang Changkong smiled and nodded. Everyone, work hard and reach a higher realm as soon as possible. It would be best if all of you can prove your Tao and become sages. This is all thanks to the Demon Emperor. Old Ape also has some immortal wine and an immortal peach for the Demon Emperor. 19 also has some immortal pills for the Demon Emperor. 9 Feathers also has some treasures for the Demon Emperor. Green Wood, one after another, the Demon Kings offered their treasures. Jiang Changkong led them to obtain the power of heaven. They also had to express their sincerity. Jiang Changkong raised his hand and said, some immortal stones, spiritual accumulations, and golden pills will be enough. The other resources are not of much use to me. Old Ape still has some of these things. Immediately get the children to bring them from Flower Fruit Mountain. We also have some. The group of demon kings hurriedly said and began to make arrangements. Jiang Changkong smiled and said, thank you, everyone. One day, I will lead all of you to attack the heavenly court and build a new world. We are willing to follow the Demon Emperor for eternity. The 37 demon kings, including Sun Yuan, bowed in response. Soon, the resources he wanted were delivered. They were all of his use. There were also some below the immortal level that could be used to reward the other demons. Those above the immortal level valued the power of heaven more. Jiang Chongkong announced that he would be going into seclusion. This time, the number of immortal stones sent over was not small. There were 1,200 pieces of top-notch fourth-grade immortal stones. Just this alone was enough to improve his acquired chaotic Tao body. There were 2,000 top-tier fourth-grade immortal stones, 4,000 mid-tier, and 6,000 low-tier. There were hundreds of thousands below the immortal level that were left to reward the other demons. It was just the beginning. The immortal and demon kings did not care, but the lesser demons could not. They had to be rewarded. These fourth-grade immortal stones were enough for him to improve greatly. Total essence, spirit, and spirit, 2,480,000. In the past month, he had gotten more than 170,000, including those from before. The peak of the immortal level was no problem. The next step was the immortal lord level. Jiang Chongkong closed his eyes and began to improve his acquired chaotic body. Endless chaotic divine power surged into his body and tempered it. The green light increased, and his defense and strength increased rapidly. Chapter 552. Jiang Chongkong, Peak Immortal, True God, 4th Revolution Mystic Art, Deshang, 1/900 000 Postnatal Chaotic Tao Body, Deshang, 1/900 000 Golden Crow Immortal Scripture, Complete, 1/337500 Essence, Energy and Spirit, 2354362 inch. It's no problem to reach the peak. I'll also improve the Golden Crow Immortal Scripture to the limit. Jiang Chongkong looked at his data and was glad that he had come to the demon race and tricked a bunch of demons. Now that the demons could feel the power of heaven, the demon court's heaven had also been revived. Of course, in essence, it didn't matter which heaven it was. They were all part of the heavenly Tao. The heavenly Tao should have been split into several parts, and each of them took a part. The demon Tharch wanted me to raise the name of the demon court. The heavens really don't recognize me, even if the immortal position in my body was formed by the heavenly court. The heavenly Tao didn't care which side he stood on as long as it was beneficial to the heavenly Tao's revival. Heavenly court, immortal court, celestial court, demon court. The heavenly Tao was nurturing Gu. Whoever had the last laugh would be the true master of the heavenly court and unify the celestial world. The celestial Tharch of the heavenly court would try his best to block the news and not let it spread. The celestial Tharch could only choose to compromise when the demons knew, even if they were here to snatch food. But the celestial Tharch had no choice. He wasn't ready and hadn't seen the Tao of the sage. I just don't know what Di Jun is planning and how many tricks he has left. I might really work for him when the time comes. Jiang Chongkong murmured and continued to improve. The law of chaos and chaotic divine power surged again. Dense chaotic divine power rushed out of his body and filled the Demon King Palace. The Golden Crow Immortal Scripture was also improving rapidly, reaching the limit of an immortal. A chaotic golden crow appeared above Jiang Chongkong's head and looked around. Screech! A cry penetrated the Demon King Palace and spread out. Wherever the cry passed, the demons and the humans of Auhai all felt their hearts tremble. The Demon Emperor's strength had increased again. The cry lasted for a day before it weakened. The Demon Emperor had no fear, only surprise. To them, the increase in the Demon Monarch's strength would only bring them benefit. A Demon Emperor that needed the support of the Demon Clan had no deterrence. Only a powerful Demon Emperor could provide them with security. The other side. Within the Heavenly God of Justice Palace, the closed doors of the palace were finally opened. Jiang Chongkong's doppelganger sat on the divine throne, and Heavenly Monarch Ziwei sat below him. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei was enraged. This heavenly god of justice was becoming more and more arrogant. Upon seeing him, she did not show the slightest bit of respect, nor did she stand up to welcome him. They didn't take him seriously at all. "Why are you in such a hurry to find me, Heavenly King?" Jiang Chongkong asked indifferently. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's face convulsed upon hearing this. He felt like he was the subordinate, while the heavenly god of justice was his superior. Is the heavenly book of justice punishable by death for anyone who holds it? Heavenly Monarch Ziwei asked coldly as he repressed his rage. "I'm not sure," Jiang Chongkong said lightly. "You, Heavenly Monarch, if you want the heavenly book, then I'll give it to you. I've only just become the heavenly god of justice, so how am I supposed to know if there will be any repercussions?" Jiang Chongkong said coldly, "How about you try taking the position of an immortal, Heavenly Monarch? You don't need to threaten me with the position of an immortal. Even if there is a problem with the heavenly book, it will only be with Lu Ji. All of the other immortals have received the power of the heavens." Heavenly Monarch Ziwei raised the heavenly book. "There will be no problem with borrowing the heavenly book of justice." "What are you trying to say, Heavenly Monarch?" Jiang Chongkong asked in an indifferent voice. "You want me to let you go? Let you continue to enforce the law, right?" Heavenly Monarch Ziwei chuckled coldly. "If I want to go, do you think your words will matter?" Jiang Chongkong didn't give him any face. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei said in a cold voice, "It will be a piece of cake for me to trap you." Jiang Chongkong sneered and didn't say anything else. It would take quite a bit of effort to trap him. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei said again, "This time, I want you to go with me, but you will not be the one to enforce the law." "Heavenly Monarch, do you think I will agree?" Jiang Chongkong asked in an indifferent voice. "If you don't agree, the Eastern Sea will force you to agree," Heavenly Monarch Ziwei said coldly. "It's a pity for Zilan, such a naive and stupid woman, to have a despicable father like you," Jiang Chongkong said mockingly. Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's expression turned cold. "If you dare to insult Zilan again, I will not forgive you. Let's talk about it." Jiang Chongkong changed the topic. "Tianhe Nation. Someone will take you there in 2 days. Don't ask too many questions. You'll be free once you're done." Heavenly King Ziwei tossed the heavenly scroll to him and left. Jiang Chongkong held the heavenly book and sneered. "Free?" The divine palace of justice closed again, and Jiang Chongkong's figure disappeared. Inside the Monster King Palace, Jiang Chongkong opened his eyes. The golden crow disappeared and the chaotic divine power returned to his body. Jiang Chongkong. Peak of Immortal, True God, 4th Revolution Mystic Art, Perfect, 1/2. 7 million acquired chaotic Tao body, Perfect, 1/2. 7 million golden crow immortal scripture, Perfect, 337500/337500 essence, energy, spirit, 555362 inch. What secret does the Heavenly River Kingdom have that caught Heavenly Monarch Ziwei's attention? Could it be that there's a devil over there? Jiang Chongkong muttered and opened the gate of the Monster King Court. Monster King Zhu 19, who was guarding the door, came in immediately and said respectfully, "Congratulations, Monster King. Your strength has improved greatly." "Yes, how much do you know about the Heavenly River Kingdom?" Jiang Chongkong asked. The Heavenly River Kingdom. Legend has it that a heavenly river fell in the ancient times, but no one has ever seen it. Apart from this legend, there is nothing special. We only know that there is an immortal king in the kingdom, Zhu 19 replied. Then, he asked, Monster King plans to attack the Heavenly River Kingdom? I'm afraid we are not strong enough. The Heavenly River Kingdom had an immortal king. Their strongest, old ape Sun Yuan, was only a peak immortal lord. Unless the monster race sent more experts, but if that happened, the Heavenly Court would definitely not agree. I plan to go over and take a look. Forget about attacking. Jiang Chongkong pondered and said, the monster race needs to hide their strength and bide their time. Making a big move will only make their foundation unstable. Monster King is right. Now that the various forces are in chaos, it is difficult for us to occupy too much with our strength. Zhu 19 heaved a sigh of relief. With their strength, they could only stand firm because the monster race behind them was powerful. I will personally go to the Heavenly River Kingdom. You don't have to follow me, Jiang Chongkong said. Zhu 19's expression changed slightly. Monster King, you can't. The Heavenly Court is despicable and shameless. Don't worry, if the Heavenly Court wanted to do that, Heavenly Monarch Ziwei would have already taken me away. Jiang Chongkong waved his hand and said, with my identity as the Monster King, the Heavenly River Kingdom would not dare to attack me. Don't worry. Monster King, what about those immortal lords? Zhu 19 was still worried. No need to inform them. My cultivation level has improved, and I am not afraid of mid-stage immortal lords anymore, Jiang Chongkong said confidently. Zhu 19 still wanted to say something, but Jiang Chongkong waved his hand and dismissed her. Leaving behind a divine power clone, Jiang Chongkong secretly left for the Heavenly River Celestial Kingdom. He was a little curious about how Heavenly Monarch Ziwei planned to give him freedom. With the identity of the Monster King, he could only tear a hole in the Heavenly Court's territory and stir up this mess. As for asking the East Sea to side with the monster race, it was just a casual remark. It was impossible. When he was strong enough, he could make the East Sea independent and contact the other three seas and underworld. He did not know what their situation was now. Chapter 553. The Sky River Celestial Kingdom was a kingdom ruled by an immortal king. Immortals and true gods were everywhere here. Of course, there were very few true gods. Jiang Chongkong only saw 5 true gods along the way. The capital of the Celestial Kingdom, Sky River City. Jiang Chongkong arrived and entered an inn while concealing himself. Jiang Chongkong sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes to sense his secondary body. 2 days had passed. The Heavenly God of Justice Palace opened again. Heavenly God of Justice, let's go. A cold voice was heard. A white-robed immortal stood in front of the door. Beside him were the 2 fairies Zilan and Yu Shui. Jiang Chongkong held the heavenly book and stepped out of the palace. Let's go. He quietly sized up the person beside him. Immortal Lord. However, he was only a secondary body with the chaotic divine power he had left behind. He could not stop an immortal lord. He was also unable to determine how powerful that white-gowned immortal was. The white-robed immortal ignored him and led him into the southern heavenly gate. However, they did not descend to the East Sea this time. They went straight to the Sky River Celestial Kingdom. Fairy Zilan and Yu Shui stood beside him and said softly, "This is the Divine Eye-Star Lord. His eyes can see through immortals, demons, and evil demons." "You are betraying the Heavenly Court," Jiang Chongkong said expressionlessly. The 2 fairies. "Is there something wrong with your brain? We warned you out of goodwill, but you don't appreciate it at all?" They really did not know what Jiang Chongkong was thinking. Jiang Chongkong did not want to appreciate it. He did not want to be soft-hearted when he fought the Heavenly Court. "Fairies, don't worry about an immortal," the Divine Eye-Star Lord said coldly. If it were not for the 2 fairies' special identities, the Divine Eye-Star Lord would not have brought them here. "Got it. Where are we going?" Fairy Yu Shui said calmly. "Pure River City." The Divine Eye-Star Lord led them into the sky. Jiang Chongkong did not say anything. His main body would come after receiving the news. The Pure River City was just an ordinary city in the Heavenly River Kingdom. He really couldn't understand why the Heavenly Court would notice this place. He had never heard of any powerful demons or devils in the Pure River City, but there was an immortal. The group of 4 soon arrived at the Pure River City. A golden barrier guarded the city, and the city gates were tightly shut. The Divine Eye-Star Lord led them through the barrier. The city gate opened, and the smell of blood rushed out. "This is..." The expressions of the 4 people changed drastically. Corpses covered the ground, and the streets of the city were filled with corpses. All sorts of blood flowed, and different colors of light bloomed. The four of them quickly checked the corpses. Most of them had died from the sharp claws tearing through their vital organs. Some had their heads chopped off, while others had their blood sucked dry. Demon Clan, this must be the work of the vile Demon Clan. Divine Eye Star Lord said angrily. Monster race? Lord Taibai Jinxing's words are too decisive. Jiang Chongkong said indifferently, if some demons suck blood, then why is all the blood here? These injuries are not the work of the Demon Clan. Who else could it be? The Divine Eye Star Lord said coldly. Let's look around and see if there are any traces left by the Demon Clan. The Divine Eye Star Lord snorted coldly and rose into the air. His eyes shone brightly, releasing divine light. Jiang Chongkong and the other two were about to get up when they saw some hair and remnant demon chi appear where the divine light from the Divine Eye Star Lord's eyes shone. Now, the heavenly God of justice has nothing to say, right? The Divine Eye Star Lord put away the hair and wrapped it in a wisp of immortal light. His eyes followed the trail. Let's go. He brought Jiang Chongkong and the other two into the Pure River City Lord's mansion. The heavenly god City Lord was killed with one strike. Golden blood flowed on the floor. The demon chi finally disappeared here. That demon must still be nearby. The Divine Eye Star Lord said with a serious expression, let's look around. Lord Taibai Jinxing, why are we here? Jiang Chongkong asked. The Pure River City Lord bullied the people and committed countless crimes. I didn't expect that he would be killed by a demon first. The Divine Eye Star Lord said with an ugly expression, it must be the heavenly demon of justice of the Demon Clan. He came to enforce the law and snatch the power of heaven. The heavenly demon of justice is enforcing the law on behalf of the heavens. He would not attack those innocent people, Jiang Chongkong said with a frown. The Divine Eye Star Lord said coldly, they are demons, extremely evil demons. The heavenly demon of justice would not kill them, but that does not mean that the other demons would not. Jiang Chongkong thought to himself, could it be that the Divine Eye Star Lord knew that his true body was here, so he made some arrangements to provide evidence? Or was it really done by the Demon Clan? Although he controlled Mount Huagua, there were many demon clans in the world. Many did not even know that he was a demon emperor. Star Lord, heavenly god of justice, look. What is this? Fairy Yushua said. The two looked over and saw the mark of a golden crow on the wall. Golden crow? The Divine Eye Star Lord's expression changed. He came to the mark and moved his immortal power to cut it off. Buzz. The golden crow mark suddenly vibrated and swallowed the Divine Eye Star Lord's immortal power. Boom. As the immortal power swallowed, the golden crow mark released beams of golden light that spread out and affected the entire city. Wherever the golden light passed, the blood shone brightly and quickly sank into the ground. Rumble! The entire Pure River City lit up with startling immortal light. A suction force appeared and drowned everyone, including the Divine Eye Star Lord. The world spun, and even Jiang Chongkong's secondary body shook. Walala! The sound of flowing water could be heard. The pure river water contained abundant immortal chi, and it drowned the four. The wisp of demon chi that had appeared earlier also became stronger. Are you all right? The Divine Eye Star Lord asked as he lifted the three with his immortal power. We're fine. What is this place? The two fairies looked up and looked around. They were in a river. The river water was clear and transparent, and it contained rich immortal chi. Jiang Chongkong looked at the Divine Eye Star Lord. The Divine Eye Star Lord shook his head. I don't know. I sense the presence of demon chi. Let's go. The three nodded and followed the Divine Eye Star Lord. The Divine Eye Star Lord led them through the river quickly. Jiang Chongkong discovered that there were no fish, prawns, or crabs in the river. There were no signs of life. The river water was sweet, and the immortal chi was abundant. This was an excellent treasure land, but there were no living creatures. After a while, the four came to the center of the river. The divine Star Lord stopped and made a shushing gesture. In front of them was a young man in a golden crow robe. There was a crack on his forehead that looked like a heavenly eye. There was an ape and a red-robed woman beside him. Jiang Chongkong, a replica of a demon emperor, the divine ape of Mount Huagua and Zhu 19? The ape's aura was unfathomable. It seemed like he was also an immortal lord, but he was far inferior to Sun Yuan. The young man in the golden crow robe had a very strong sun aura. He pointed with a finger, and divine fire evaporated the river water. Special patterns appeared in the river. Immortal array. The immortal spirit array activated, and the young man retreated. The ape held a golden staff, split the river water, and smashed it down. Rumble. There was a shocking sound. The immortal array exploded, and a golden barrier appeared faintly. There was a temple inside. Let's work harder. The real heavenly river is about to appear, the young man in the golden crow robe said excitedly. He spat out sun divine fire and burned the immortal spirit array. The red-robed woman followed closely. Spider silk bombarded the array. Chapter 554. The spiderweb stirred and cracked the array lines. The golden staff smashed down, and the divine ape showed its brutality. Its majestic divine might shook the river. Wherever the divine might passed, the divine Star Lord led them and retreated quickly. It really is the demon emperor, the divine ape of Huagua Mountain and that spider demon. The divine Star Lord said gloomily. They destroyed Pure River City for the heavenly river? Fairy Xylan's pretty face turned cold. Fairy Yushua was puzzled. The heavenly demon of justice has killed many people. Why would the heavens choose him? The divine Star Lord looked at Jiang Chongkong. Heavenly God of justice, show me your heavenly book. Jiang Chongkong frowned and didn't move. Heavenly God of justice? The divine Star Lord frowned and patted him. Show me the heavenly book. I don't believe it either. Let's see what the heavens say. The heavenly book slowly opened, and the information appeared. Dong Wang Changyue, peak immortal, sinful, death penalty. Sun Yuan, early stage immortal lord, sinful, death penalty. Zhu 19, peak immortal, sinful, death penalty. There were also rewards. Peak immortal, 10,000 each, and early stage immortal lord, 50,000. This situation was not right. Sun Yuan was clearly a peak immortal lord. These were all fake. The information from the heavenly book was either concealed by the heavens, or the three people's names were real. Moreover, the heavenly book didn't say it was the heavenly demon of justice and the divine ape of Huagua Mountain. It's really them. These demons are really despicable, Fairy Xylan said angrily. The divine Star Lord said coldly, Dong Wang Changyue is not qualified to be the heavenly demon of justice. I'll have to trouble the heavenly god of justice to suppress those two immortals and let the two fairies enforce the law. Heavenly god of justice should do it himself, Fairy Yushua said lightly. This is heavenly King Ziwei's will. After this, heavenly god of justice will be free, the divine Star Lord said lightly. Free? Really? Heavenly God of Justice will be able to enforce the law impartially like before? The two fairies hurriedly asked. Jiang Chongkong said lightly, Heavenly King Ziwei won't be so kind, right? He didn't believe that Heavenly Monarch Ziwei would release him and allow him to continue enforcing the law like before. Jiang Chongkong had made it clear that he wasn't going to give Heavenly Monarch Ziwei any face. Of course, in the future, Heavenly God of Justice, you can properly enforce the law in the lower realms. There's no need to return to the Heavenly Court. In the future, the Heavenly Court won't restrict you, unless you want to ascend to the heavens yourself. The divine Star Lord said coldly. When Jiang Chongkong heard this, he understood that these two fairies weren't really stupid. He was exiled by the Heavenly Court. On the surface, it was said that he was enforcing the law in the lower realm, but in reality, It had nothing to do with the heavenly court. Of course, if he wanted to go back, he could do so as long as he was obedient and became an obedient dog. If he were to enforce the law in the lower realm, the heavenly court would not care about him anymore. Even if he died, they would not care. Perhaps it would be better for him to die. That way, he wouldn't be killed by the celestial arch, and there wouldn't be any burden. This is good for both of us. The heavenly God of justice won't disturb the peace of the heavenly court. The divine Star Lord said calmly, "What do you think, heavenly God of justice?" "Very good." Jiang Chongkong smiled. Seeing his smile, the divine Star Lord's face turned cold. "Cooperate well later. Don't make any mistakes. This is unfair to the heavenly God of justice." The two fairies frowned. The divine Star Lord said calmly, "This is the heavenly monarch's will." Boom! The river shook, and a pillar of water shot up 1,000 feet high. The clear river water shone with celestial light. The immortal god array was finally broken. Rumble! A violent force rushed over, and a heavy pressure struck, causing the bodies of the four present to sink at the same time. The golden barrier pushed the river water apart, and a temple appeared. The three impostors immediately rushed toward the golden barrier. The golden barrier only blocked the river water, not the entry of living beings. "Let's go and see what these three demons are up to," the divine Star Lord said coldly. The four followed closely. Behind them, Jiang Chongkong's main body finally arrived, and he followed silently. "Who's there?" The ape suddenly stopped. A terrifying demonic aura bloomed around him, and he smashed his cudgel toward the four. Boom! The divine Star Lord blocked the metal cudgel with his sword, and a dazzling sword light slashed out. "The divine Star Lord of the heavenly court?" The ape's face turned serious, and a fierce glint appeared in his eyes. The metal cudgel glowed with golden light, and he smashed it toward the divine Star Lord. Clang! The long sword and the metal cudgel clashed. The two bodies shook at the same time, and they were forced back. "And Heavenly King Ziwei's child. Take them down and make Heavenly King Ziwei regret it." The ape shouted coldly and pointed at the two fairies. Jiang Chongkong was completely ignored. "Okay." The young man and the red-robed woman attacked the two. "How dare you!" Jiang Chongkong shouted coldly. The heavenly book trembled, and chaotic divine power surged, enveloping the two. The punch seemed to be able to split heaven and earth, and the river water dissipated automatically. "Heavenly Book of Justice? You are the heavenly court's heavenly God of justice?" The two's expressions changed at the same time, and a trace of fear flashed in their eyes. "You are not that demon emperor." Jiang Chongkong's punch landed, and the two deities were sent flying at the same time. They crashed into the temple, and blood splattered. "Golden Crow Demon Emperor Dong Wang Changyue. Isn't he very arrogant?" The two fairies were confused. "And that demon emperor is very strong." The golden-robed young man was simply a weakling. He was about the same as Lu Ji without the power of heaven. Compared to that demon emperor, the difference was like heaven and earth. "I'm just giving you a handicap." The golden-robed young man snorted and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. The crack between his eyebrows slowly opened. "See my heavenly eye." Buzz. The heavenly eye opened, and a fiery divine light shot out, shining on Jiang Chongkong. Pure destructive power. Jiang Chongkong pointed with a finger, and the divine light shattered. With a flip of his palm, the river water stirred, and the two figures were suppressed like ants in his palm. Boom! "Demon Emperor!" The ape shouted angrily, forcing the divine Star Lord back, and smashed his cudgel at Jiang Chongkong. The divine Star Lord's eyes shone with divine light. The divine ape had to withdraw his cudgel and fight with him again. Jiang Chongkong suppressed the two, his expression cold. "You are not demon emperors." "I am not demon emperor. Are you?" The young man looked at him coldly. Even though he was suppressed, he still had an arrogant air. The divine Star Lord said coldly, Jiang Chongkong, stop talking nonsense. Quickly kill him. If not for the fact that we are just incarnations, how could we be defeated by you? The red-robed woman said disdainfully. So you are just incarnations? The two fairies suddenly understood. Just incarnations? That made it easy to explain. Jiang Chongkong, you are ruining my reputation. My incarnations are really more powerful than you. Do it. Jiang Chongkong did not ask any more and handed the two over to the two fairies. It was a pity that the 20,000 essence, qi, and spirit were wasted. The two fairies did not hesitate any more and picked up the heads. The two fairies kept the heads and felt the increase of the power of heaven. Their cultivation levels were also rising rapidly, and they actually reached the peak of the late-stage sky immortal. Is that the temple of cleansing altar? Jiang Chongkong looked at the temple. The temple of cleansing altar? The two fairies were shocked. The envoy of the cleansing altar, Zhu Beiji? He also has another identity. He is the marshal of the heavenly canopy, and he leads the 360,000 soldiers of the heavenly river. Jiang Chongkong could not hide the shock in his eyes. This was actually Zhu Beiji's place. Chapter 555. Thinking about it carefully, Jiang Chongkong could understand. Back then, the Milky Way Immortal Kingdom was named after the Milky Way Immortal Kingdom when it fell into the Milky Way Kingdom. Now that the temple had appeared and the three of them had come to find the real Sky River, they were clearly here for the canopy marshal. Boom! Divine might surged out and the river water trembled. The ape's body tumbled. It was no match for the divine Eye-Star Venerable, so it turned around and fled. The divine Eye-Star Lord's expression was grave. He did not give chase. This demon is very strong. I can't take him down in a short time. Let's see what's here first. That's fine too. This temple should be the dojo of the canopy marshal. The two fairies nodded. They could tell that the divine Eye-Star Lord and the ape were about the same level of strength. Even though he was slightly stronger, he would only be able to defeat him. Killing him would be extremely difficult. Just as the four of them were about to enter the Jingten temple, the godly ape let out a miserable shriek and flew back at an even faster speed. The divine Eye-Star Lord's expression hardened. He turned around and looked ahead with a grave expression. A terrifying godly might spread out as a figure stepped forward. The river water parted to make way for him. The golden crow robe, the crack between his eyebrows, his hands behind his back, the heavenly book of justice floating beside him. As he took a step forward, his divine might was like a prison, suppressing the four humans and one ape. It was as if a divine mountain was pressing down on them. The two fairies quickly took out their treasures and activated the power of their immortal artifacts to protect themselves. Jiang Chongkong's body was slightly bent as if he was under great pressure. The two-star venerates showed grave expressions. Their immortal energy circulated continuously, and their fiendish qi surged. However, they found it hard to block the vast pressure. Since when did I have a clone? And when did Mount Huagua have a divine ape like you? Every step of the approaching figure was like stepping on their hearts. Under the terrifying pressure, the two fairies seemed to be able to hear their own heartbeat. Demon Emperor! This was the true Demon Emperor. It was so powerful that even a heavenly high immortal would find it hard to withstand it. Demon Emperor! The divine Eye-Star Lord's expression was grave. How could this Demon Emperor really appear? Why did he come here? Could it be that the news had been leaked? No, not many people knew about this. The two fairies definitely wouldn't tell anyone. He had also brought Jiang Chongkong here. Even if the news had been leaked, the Demon Emperor wouldn't have been able to rush over from the proud sea nation so quickly. Unless the Demon King was waiting for them in the Sky River Celestial Kingdom. But is this possible? Since when did Celestial Lord Sun Yuan fall from the peak to the early stage? The Demon King Jiang Chongkong stopped in his tracks and stared at the godly ape. There was also a burn mark on the divine ape's body. Apparently, it had been injured by the divine fire of the sun. Demon Sovereign, why is your main body here? The monkey hurriedly put on a smile. You are a doppelganger? Jiang Chongkong sneered. That's right, Demon Sovereign. We agreed that we would send our clones over. Are you worried? The Demon Sovereign is wise. The celestial court is indeed not a good thing. The monkey hurriedly said. Then disperse this clone. I alone am enough. Jiang Chongkong laughed coldly. Kill yourself, monkey. If it was a clone, I would have already dispersed and wouldn't have run. Demon Sovereign, with Old Ape's help, you will definitely be able to take down the heavenly courts, Star Lord. The monkey hurriedly said. Do I need a fake like you? Jiang Chongkong snorted coldly and slapped the ape with his palm. Killing in vain. The divine ape of the mountain of flowers and fruits would never do such a thing. The ape's expression changed. He was unable to dodge and could only take it head-on. At the same time, he shouted, Divine Eye Star Lord, the demonic sovereign has gone mad. I will help you take down the demonic sovereign. All right. The divine Eye Star Lord did not hesitate. His eyes shone with divine light, and his divine sword slashed with divine light. The immortal monarch's every action was like the Lord of Laws. The divine radiance was like a divine sword that could split the heavens and earth. The sword intent that could destroy everything was enough to split the mountains and rivers of the immortal world and destroy the endless mortal universe. The metal cudgel of the ape smashed down and demonic chi surged. It was as if many small worlds were formed and destroyed, repeating the cycle. As he moved his palms, his primal chaos divine power and sun divine power were unleashed to the extreme. The chaos star appeared behind him, looking like a chaotic universe. Boom! As his palms landed, the metal cudgel shook. Rings of divine power spread into the surroundings like heavenly dragons. The heavenly river surged, and the immortal chi scattered. The entire river was shaking. His secondary body brought the two fairies into the temple and hid. Immortal blood and demonic blood splattered on the heavenly river, turning the clear water dirty. The ape fell, his metal cudgel flying. His sword fell, and his bones broke. The divine eye light shone, and the golden crow robe fluttered. Gray light and golden light shone brilliantly, shattering the divine eye light. Jiang Chongkong took a step forward, and his palms were like a curtain of the sky. It was as if the sky had collapsed. Endless gray light and golden light intertwined in his palms. The primal chaos law and the sun law formed the primal chaos law of the golden crow. The golden crow that stepped out of the primal chaos was a primal chaos demon god from ancient times. Although it was weak now, it was not something these immortal lords could compare to. Rumble! The heavenly curtain palm landed. The divine eye light, the ape fist, and the overwhelming immortal chi and demonic chi reached their limits at this critical moment. Boom! The heavenly river shook, and divine might surged through the entire heavenly river. When the palm force landed, a vacuum appeared in the surroundings. Immortal blood and demonic blood dyed the river bottom, and two huge palm prints appeared. The divine eye star venerate and the ape were both lying in the palm prints, their flesh mangled. Their tenacious life auras were still struggling for their last bit of life. Jiang Chongkong waved his hand, and the divine sword and metal cudgel tore through the air, piercing through their bodies and nailing them to the river bottom. Chaotic divine power poured into their bodies, and he started searching their souls. Ah! Miserable screams rang out. The souls of the two immortal lords dissipated, and their vitality vanished. Jiang Chongkong's expression changed slightly. These two immortal lords had restrictions in their bodies, and they died right after he searched their souls. Shao Qin looked at the pure altar temple. The earlier battle did not cause any damage to the temple. His secondary body and the two fairies hid in the temple, looking at him in fear. They wanted to hide, but the temple was empty except for a golden statue. Jiang Chongkong stepped into the temple and looked at the golden statue. He had a fat head, big ears, a pig nose, a big belly, and golden armor. He held a 9-toothed rake in his hand. The two fairies hid in the corner, behind his secondary body. "Are you afraid of me?" Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. "We are not afraid of you. If you dare to kill us, my father will definitely not let you off," Fairy Violet Orchid threatened fiercely. However, this threat was very weak and guilty. The demon sovereign in front of him did not give Heavenly King Ziwei any face at all. The secondary body stood up and said indifferently, "Judicial heavenly demons are not allowed to kill the innocent. We are all meritorious people. You cannot kill us." Jiang Chongkong looked at the statue. Zhu Beiji is a member of the demon race. Zhu Beiji was the Heavenly Court's Marshal Tianpeng. "He is a member of the Heavenly Court," Yu Shui said. Jiang Chongkong chuckled and looked around. There was nothing except the statue. He reached out and pressed his hand on the statue, but there was no reaction. Jiang Chongkong frowned. Zhu Beiji would not leave an empty temple. If there was nothing, the Heavenly Court would not have gone through so much trouble to come here. "What do you think?" Jiang Chongkong looked at the two fairies. "Aren't you a demon sovereign? You said that Zhu Beiji belongs to the demon race, and you, as a demon sovereign, can't do anything?" Fairy Violet Orchid said proudly.